worries.
Okay, welcome to ANZ Combined Racing League's Daytona 2.4 on Automobilista 2. I'm your host Neil Haynes, and alongside me is Tim. Welcome, Tim.
Good evening, Woody. Going to be a very, very exciting 2.5 hours here with Automobilista 2 Daytona.
Yes, and the cars are just taking to the track as we speak for the qualifying session, 15 minutes, and we got 1 p.m. with overcast skies. I believe track temperature would probably be around about that 17 to 18 degrees, so it should be a fairly fast qualifying time session. And we've just come out from practice session 3, and Sato topped the timesheets with a 132.560. They've all been chasing a 32 in the DPIs since the start of practice, from practice 1 to practice 2 that we've run from Thursday, Friday night. Never got to a 33.302, I think Sato was. So got into the 32s with John Slow in second with a 133.136. And then JWM Clarkey, we saw him last night actually in the GT3 category, but he has had a late signing back up into the DPIs for the number 43 Utosia Cadillac car, and he qualified third with a 133.204. Not qualified, but practice session 3 actually was third fastest. And there he is on screen as we speak. Nice, well-presented car. And Dado's been still into the 33s. We did a 33.697 in that session, so that was just a little bit. That was actually faster than what he did last night when he was in a 34. So he's actually been decreasing his time as we go. So that's good to see. And then T Betts was in a 34.098. So that was good to see. Into the 34s for Tim. And then Scar 666 was a 134.538 in the final practice session. So that was about roughly a second slower than what he did last night in practice. So hopefully we'll see him get that time during this qualifying. And then Head Cheese was the final guy with 135.455. And as we know, Head Cheese is actually Blue Falcon from the Xbox days, so he's roughly been doing his times around the 35s from what he did last night as well. So he's been fairly consistent in the number 3 Fanatec car. Then in the GT3s we had Fish with a 1 minute 44.652, and he's been able to just stay in front of the second Porsche, which is Monkey, which I think is just in front of him at the moment, the yellow Porsche, so you can just see there. So in the Dazzle Porsche, there wasn't much between those two, and Cuckoo was the only other car that actually set a time with a 146, which is a lot slower than what we've seen Cuckoo do. He's been able to do a 44.544 in this Nissan Motorsport Nismo NS New Zealand Racing, I should say. And then Colonel Lloyd, he missed the practice, so he's now joined in the second of the Nissans in the International Motorsport car. And we should hopefully get one more car in before the end of qualifying. It's going to be tight. We're waiting for Night Pegasus. We've seen him at all the practice sessions, so time's getting short for him. He will have about another 7 minutes before he can join. So just having a look now where we've gone through the field. Sato is actually the man on top with a 132.639, so not too far off the time that he set just in the previous practice session. And we know through the years with Sato here at ANZ Combined Racing League, he is the qualifying specialist. He finds himself near the front row nearly every race that he participates in. If he's not on the front row, he's pretty much the second row. So we'll see how that goes.
Stu is our 14th car on track at the moment, Neil. He's a little bit of an underdog. He hasn't run any timed laps at this stage. We are thinking that he is holding something behind the curtain though in the Mercedes, the number 81 Velocity Mercedes. There's certainly some pace in that car we've seen from previous years, and we're expecting that Stu, while deciding to start maybe from the back of the pack, is holding on to something here so that not everyone's aware of how fast he really may be.
Yeah, we'll wait and see what happens there with Stu. He has actually he's just missed all the official practices that we ran. He did run a the unofficial practice that we did before, or it was about 3 weeks ago, and he was doing roughly the 46s, I think 45s in that Mercedes, as we can see Dado now in the Med Lab DPI. 8 minutes 45 on the clock remaining. It's business time for everyone. He won't be happy with that because it's this will take his zone out at the moment. He'll have to just get it back into that groove. It wouldn't have really affected the tyres too much with that spin. The temperatures are fairly cool. The guys are actually struggling to get the heat into the tyres.
Jump on back here and do a lap around Daytona with Dado.
Just go on the roof.
On the roof.
That's fun. Enjoy a lap here on the qualifying conditions with Dado Racer. Went a little bit faster there, I believe. He's into a 33.921. I'll be happy that he's got into the 33s, Dado.
Still think he's a little deep coming into turns 1 and 2. Still trying to find his rhythm. Exciting news from Chevrolet this week, Neil, with the announcements of the Z709, GT3 racing in 2024.
Yeah, definitely. You might just want to put your mic up just a little bit too, Tim. Just towards your mouth, maybe. It just seems to be lower than what it was earlier.
So, also looks like Gunner may have found a little bit of extra speed. He's still close to 5/10 off the number 1 spot.
Yeah, still trying to chase down that 32, the elusive 32 here at Daytona. Oh, he's going straight ahead here, straight into the pits. He may be trying for one more run.
John Slow, he's also trying to chase down the 132s.
Oh, big moment.
Not what you like to see with only 4 minutes left to go of qualifying, but there's still enough time if he's quick back into the pits to reset. He should be able to get out on a out lap on a hot lap.
So I've just gone silent, I'm just doing a couple of things here.
Just watching Gunner as he comes around onto the back straight. The DPIs will be up into 6th gear and closing to 300 kilometres an hour before they brake hard to come through the horseshoe. Oh, sorry, the bus stop. And the drivers have told us that the DPIs will be maxing above 310 on the front straight when they cross the start finish line before braking for turn 1. While the GT3s are a little off the pace, most of them will be around the 285 mark with a slipstream closer to 290.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see how they go with that. Pulling them up as well. We're asking a lot. We've obviously got supporter for Monkey as well. Go CJ Racing. Over there, Monkey. So he's P2 at the moment in the GT3 class. As everyone will be getting close to their final laps, they'll probably
jump over now to see Monkey. He's on a hot lap now. There's less than 1/10 between first and second in GT3 class.
Yeah, as G2 goes past him.
Is a balancing act to get it through the bus stop, especially with the Porsche. We're having a Porsche moment. It's quite easy to turn the Porsche around, but these guys seem to have their setup dialed in. They've got the car really well settled through there.
Yeah, definitely.
We get to see now coming over the start finish line whether he's managed to improve his lap. No, he has not.
He's just got to find, was it 600ths of a second?
Yep.
So we'll stay on. If you put the map up actually, we will see sector times here, so it'll be good to see as we got some support for CJ Racing, so we may as well stay on board as this is the fight for pole position for the GT3 class.
Come down to turn 4 into 5. We can see that he has got clear track.
Only problem for him here is that DPI, but it shouldn't be a problem. He should be able to get him before he needs to get into the bus stop, but then he's also got another Rory with, I think it's John Slow, that may be right in the area of the braking point, so
Yes,
That's
no advantage from the slipstream off the DPI. It looks like the DPI is going to hold back and allow him. Yep, they're pulling out of their lap, so it's going to allow him to push through.
so normally we've got the final sector come through here. The time he's down, so he's half a second down. So it doesn't look like he's going to make it. But a good run into second place to start the 2023 Daytona 2.4 here at ANZCRL Combined Racing League. And as that was Nick says, he will win up, so he'll win, so up CJ. So he's obviously got some support here tonight, so it's good to see. So obviously it'll be something that will be good for us commentators to know that there's some support for him. So obviously some of the camera action will be shown, and we'll keep an eye on how he tracks throughout the night.
And looking at that pace, I think he's going to take advantage of the slipstream from Cuckoo at some stage. But unfortunately, it looks like we have not been successful in picking up Pegasus this evening. I don't think he's going to have time to join the lobby if he hasn't already arrived.
Yeah, it doesn't look that way, does it? Unfortunately, so a slide. So Slide Science is in the chat as well. He's saying hello to both myself and you, Tim.
Good evening, Slide.
So there we go with the results. We've got Sato 15 on pole with his 32.639. So the only driver to get into the 132s. And then we got Gunner in second place. And then on the second row we have John Slow and JWM Clarkey. And then on the third row, Tim Betts and Dado Racer. Fourth row, Scar, 666 with Head Cheese. And then we'll have G-Dude on his own on the fifth row. And then taking up the GT3s on the front row will be Cuckoo and then Monkey. And on the second row, Fish Racing 3 with Colonel Lloyd beside him. And then Stu, who ended up doing a time. I didn't actually see that, but he did a 148.7. So he did get out on track eventually. So that's good to see. And he's there in on his own on the third row. So not a big GT3 field. We did have it up to 7 at one stage, but a few late withdrawals has thinned that out. And also we're missing one of the DPIs, as you said, Tim, in Night Pegasus. So there we go. We're just waiting for a little bit for the guys just to have a little bit of a refresh before we head over into the actual race event. So on track it'll be 2 PM race start, and we'll have times 10 time progression, so it'll run right through until 2 PM the next day. We'll have a full night transition and then into the morning and then right through to the afternoon again. So should be fun. 2 hours 25 minutes with a rolling start. So I think we should be able to get this thing on the road.
And interesting to watch out for here is second, third, fourth, all separated by less than 0.3 of a second in the DPIs.
Yeah, well picked up, Tim. That's yeah, what we need, those second eyes to have a look at that. There's so much that sort of to try and take in.
And we're also looking at the GT3s. So the top 3 GT3s are separated by less than 0.2 of a second.
Yeah, you can see that's going to be very tight for the GT3s all race long as well. So, well, let's get into our inaugural Daytona 2.4 here at ANZCRL Combined Racing League, and the man that takes the first ever pole here for ANZCRL Combined Racing League is Sato 15, and sharing on the front row will be Gunner. So well done to those two guys. They've actually been pretty much fighting it out all practice sessions long, those guys, as well with John Slow.
So as the guys go through their final checks to ensure that their setups are correct and they've got the correct amount of fuel to start the race, we'd like to say welcome to everyone that's enjoying the stream this evening, with a couple of guys have jumped in the chat. So show your support, jump in, chat to us as we go. Happy to answer any questions that come along. If you're following a particular driver, let us know. We'll try and give them some airtime and keep you up to date with where they are on track. But this is the 2.5 replicating 24 hours of Daytona. It is an enduro event on Automobilista 2. It's not about lap 1, Neil. Although we have seen, myself included, have made some brave, brazen moves on lap 1, which have been detrimental to our overall event and put us laps down before we've even finished the first lap. Unfortunately, I can say I put my hand up for having looked at that.
Yeah.
I do apologise to Sato once again.
Yeah, it can be very hard getting to the turn 1, and especially the cars are, you know, by the time they do their formation lap, the brakes are cold, the tyres are cold. You know, sometimes it's just not real. They don't think about working to try and get the temperatures in. But we'll see what happens tonight on the start here, and see what happens. So they're all ready for this formation lap, and we've got plenty of support for Monkey by Flip Flap 222, and actually not 222. I need my glasses. It's 222. And then we've also got support obviously from Oz Nick, as we know, for Monkey, but we've also got Cobalt 94 all supporting Gunner. So, and then obviously Spudsy's coming on for Dado. Yes, the Dado is an old favourite for most. Yeah, okay, so some guys are on Arvo shift, yep, so they're enjoying the stream, so that's good to hear, boys. And then
so the guys weaving around, coming down into, what are we coming up, West Horseshoe on their out lap before the rolling start. I'll see whether we can get a decent camera angle for the field as they roll around.
Yeah, so they're just going through the Western Horseshoe now before they come up to turn 6.
I've always struggled with turn 6, Neil. I've tried coming in tight, taking it inside, drifting out wide, and then going up onto the embankment and coming back down. I've tried going wide, deep into the corner and turning back down. I can never find a good line through turns 6 and 7. It's always frustrated me on this track.
Yeah, it's some of the cars, yeah, they can just lose the rear end as you're pushing into there. It's probably one of the last ones where you really are on the brakes really hard. And you really want to get a good exit out of turn 6 onto the banking there at turn 7, don't you, Tim? Because it's that big long straight then into here, into the bus stop. And it really sets up for the remaining part of the lap too, to really flow through the bus stop, get that turning right and flow through it and get out really strong. Keep that pace up. So the guys are going to start forming up 2 by 2. It's a rolling start. The leader will have control. It's 120 kilometres an hour. And he can't go until the final red light leaves us. Otherwise he will get a drive-through penalty, and you will find the GT3s will just drop off a little bit from the DPIs.
Just watching the GT3s group up now. We'll jump up and see the front row of the grid.
Yeah, go with Sato in the Casino Racing Cadillac on pole position, and upside above him is Gunner in the Moorfield Motorsports Cadillac. Then we'll have John Slow in the Phoenix Racing Cadillac, and then we have got some support for this man, Clarkey in the number 43 Utosa Cadillac. But here we go, with the lights are about to go, and off they go. So the start of the Daytona 2.4, and it looks clean at this stage, but we've still got to hit the braking mark, and John Slow has made his run to perfection here. Will he duck it down the inside of Gunner? No, he's giving him some room here. being sensible. And this is the view where we should see hopefully all the cars coming through nicely without any incident, and it looks that way. A great start from everyone, nice and clean. The reality for them now is that there's 2 hours and 25 minutes in front of them. But I tell you what, it does go fast, especially after about, like as the dark's come in, you've been running for about 20 or 30 minutes in the dark, and then before you know it, you've got an hour 15 or so remaining, and you start getting that morning come through, and the visuals, and it does make it go through a little bit faster as the transitions from the night to day happen.
Looks like everyone's been successful, clean lap on their first lap. Everyone will start, the nerves will start to roll away now. The guys will start to set into their rhythm, start to get some flow. We can see that the DPIs are starting to get a bit of space around them. They're all finding a little bit of comfort space at this stage to get into their rhythm.
Yeah, it looks like G-Dude actually had a little bit of problem there, because he's just pulling away, as you can see on the map there, the dot's pulling away from the GT3, so he got himself involved there before the bus stop, so maybe he had a problem with that turn 6 that you were saying before too. Tim? So far, Gunner has actually taken the lead from Sado. Sado's dropped to third. We haven't seen that. So there's something happened to Sado. He's dropping down as we go. He's in fourth now. Betts has taken him.
Like there's any damage.
And Clarkie's got him. Well, Sado's just, yes, there is. There's definitely damage to Sado's car. So that curse of sometimes of Sado's fast pace has made him come unstuck. We haven't seen how that happened, if it was a move from Gunner. If we have a look at Gunner's car, we may see if there's any evidence of any marks there.
I'm not seeing anything on Gunner's car. I'm wondering whether Sado has actually caught the inside corner on turn 1.
Yes, it's one of the corners that has taken a few people.
So there was no alerts on the track map or anything to say that there was a yellow flag anywhere. So I'm thinking he's just made slight contact with the wall, as we can see on the inside left of his car. So I'm thinking, yeah, a little bit of a love tap has certainly taken some pace out. I'm thinking the way he's dropping back, he was going to be required to do a pit stop.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's the pit crew will be ready for him. I was just going to say to you earlier, Tim, of really what the drivers will be thinking right now is probably settling down into that nice little rhythm. Just trying to concentrate just to follow that car and have a little bit of a breath of fresh air. You know, if they can make a move with a little bit of a mistake, they will. But you know, what's your mentality, Tim? Do you sort of put a little bit of pressure early on, or are you just happy just to sit there and get the car up to temperature and everything like that with all the brakes and tyres?
Definitely the endurance mind kicks in now with a full tank of fuel. Get a good feel for how the car runs. The cars normally, the first 20% of the fuel burns off. The car doesn't handle that well, so it would be trying to find that groove, burn that first 20% off, then you can really push the car, and then assess the car as the fuel burns off and the tyres wear down. Follow the trend of the car as you go. But it looks like everyone is taking it easy. No one appears to be doing anything too stupid or rash at this stage.
Yeah, maybe
we got a battle going on the back here, mate. I'm just going to jump back to Scar. I've just seen he's been in the slipstream. I've seen him catch up along the back straight and see whether he's going to make a move down here into turn 1.
Yeah, Head Cheese is. So this is a good thing as well. Bit of experience too. Head Cheese basically showed him that he's going to keep it down the inside. But he's gone right through. Head Cheese has made a massive mistake into the. He's locked it up. and ran wide in turn 1. So that's an easy position to scar 666 up into 6th position. These 6s all line up for him into 6. So well done with that for Scar, but he was lucky that he didn't get collected by Head Cheese as he ran off sideways into turn 1. So why there's a little battle also with the GT3s with Cuckoo and Fish there for first place. So we may want to have a little look at the GT3s as the DPIs are starting to settle down a little bit. And there's Fish in the 82 Fanatec Porsche, the black Porsche, and then the Porsche Attack is actually all on the back of Cuckoo at the moment, with Monkey not too far behind Fish at the moment. You can't mistake Monkey in that yellow Dazzle Porsche.
We've got to make comment on how good the graphics are on Automobile 2. We see the big flame out the side as they back off, coming down into turn 6 there with the overburn of the fuel. I'm wondering if Fish is close enough for catching a bit of a slipstream here on Cuckoo.
Well, that's one thing that's really important for the Porsche, trying to stay in touch with the Nissans, because the Nissans just have a great pull down the straights. I think their outright speed is a lot better than the Porsche, so this is why Fish, you can see him so much better under the brakes, as Porsche have been known for, and so nimble through the corners. So he's been able to catch back up to Cuckoo and try and just get onto that little bit of slipstream, but he's slowly, it seems he's just losing that ability to stay on the back of him.
But again, the Porsche will have the ability through Sector 1, through the infield, to make a little bit of gains and hopefully be close enough coming through turn 6 to 7 onto the back straight to again catch up on the slipstream. There's a bit of a cat and mouse between the Porsche and the other cars.
Sorry, just saw in the background there, Colonel Lloyd actually has made a move on Monkey. So turn 1, it looks like Monkey may have got a little bit loose, but he's definitely fighting back here now on Lloyd. Great camera work here, picking up some of the action of the GT3. So this is a battle for 3rd position at the moment between Monkey and Colonel Lloyd. So we've got a Nissan, Porsche, and then Mercedes. G-Dude has gone into the pits as well and out in 13th position. The DPIs. He's been able to come out in front of Sato, who's at the rear of the field at the moment.
Seeing whether the Porsche is close enough, just close enough to have advantage of the slipstream, but not close enough to maintain the top speed of the Nissan. And I think that may cause the Porsche to suffer again coming down the start-finish straight around the 2nd embankment of this track.
Never reliable Dado is in 5th position as well. He's managing similar times to T-Bets in 4th, but he's about 3 seconds behind, well, 4 seconds behind T-Bets. So he's in the middle of Betsy and also Scar 666 in the DPIs. And then there's John Slow has still got Clarkey, just keeping him honest, about a second behind. Oh, there goes Lloyd. He's had a moment. He's down there at the International Horseshoe. So Lloyd has been able to keep it on track though, but he's obviously lost some time to Monkey. So Monkey back up into 3rd.
I'm thinking Colonel actually caught the inside ripple strip there and unsettled the car, causing the back of the car to step out a bit. Would have been a bit of a heart and throat moment for Colonel, but like you said, has managed to keep it together, and we'll see now the strength of the Nissan down the back straight, and it wouldn't be long before he'll be back up on the back of Monkey, no doubt.
Yeah, but one thing about it, same with also the top end speed of the Nissan, they still need to get the exit out of the corners too. So if they don't get the right exit, they're going to still suffer. So it's definitely a tough car to drive, the Nissan. A Porsche is probably more rounded car to drive, but there's definitely a straight line advantage in the Nissan.
Unlike yourself, Neil, the Porsche is not my friend.
Yeah, you got to know how to drive the Porsche and just be one with the car basically. But you can see the Nissan, how much it's, so without the tow, the Porsche is just a sitting duck. See how much time that Lloydie was able to pick up on Monkey. It was probably almost a second behind coming out of the bus stop, and only to be now a whisker behind the back of the Porsche. But then the Porsche should be able to extend the lead through the infield section. But this seesawing battle is just going to be intriguing all race long.
And this plays on the minds of the drivers. When you are in one of these battles, you're constantly checking the mirror, you're constantly checking your driving line to keep the lines tight, and it's mentally fatiguing. This is not going to be an easy race for these guys. As you see, they're fairly evenly matched. And again, with Cuckoo and Fish running nose to tail.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The mental side of things is so strong in these endurance races, and you can just see G-Dude slowly coming back through into the back of these GT3 cars after having to make an early pit stop. And he may make this move into the bus stop. Yes, he will. You can see the size difference with these DPIs to the GT3 cars. Gives you a perspective of how small and nimble the actual DPIs are. They're definitely a cut-up race car.
And Stu's either had an incident or he's going for the undercut. He's now in the pits.
I'd say he may have an incident there. He's been in early. There's still plenty of support for Monkey. They want to see him get on top. He's in third position at the moment in class, so he's got a little bit of work to do to get onto the back of his fellow Porsche driver. This man here, Fish Racing, who is all over the back of Cuckoo in the infield section. And this is exactly what you're saying, Tim. You know, it's just draining. Cuckoo just knows he's got those legs down the straights, but he's just can't get away in the infield section.
They're about to be caught up by the DPIs, so they're going to have the field of DPIs passing them in the next lap or so.
Yeah, this one here is obviously just G-Dude, as we know, coming back through after his mistake. But as you said, yeah, it's not too long until the actual leaders of the DPIs will be there. And now look at Fish. He's really going to try and hold into the toe here and see if he can get through the bus stop with a nice run. I think the best spot for a Fish really would be the International Horseshoe.
You can see he's now close enough to maintain that slipstream. How the Porsche can keep up with the Nissan. And we expect for Gunner to pass down the inside of these guys before turn one. Like he's coming through now. We should start seeing him on screen.
Yeah, so it's very important in obviously multi-class racing that the slower class obviously stick to their line majority of the time and let the faster cars navigate through you. Oh, well, not through you, but past you, I should say. It's not the right word to say through you. You don't really want that, do you, Tim?
No, not unless you're driving for Williams.
Yeah, but we've obviously got another one of the Monkey ones, Oscar Chu. He wants a little bit of banana and everything all over his face after the celebration victory if Monkey does win. So we'll see if you can have that smile on your face, Oscar.
Two of the DPIs challenging their own position, challenging these two GT3s now.
Oh, that's a bit advantageous by, I think it was actually Sato, was it? Actually, no, that was actually Clarkey. Actually didn't want to lose any time. The DPIs, you may want to click on and have a look to see because he's actually got a bit closer to John Slow. He's not too far away. He's gained time through the traffic. And this man here too, Tim, actually, we said in practice last night, he won the iRacing Daytona 24 in class, like in his split. So Clarkey is on fire at the moment.
And using the iRacing advantage here, using a bit of the inline, passing Fish back there, keep his tyres cool.
Yeah.
Certainly don't think it was intentional.
He's starting to now. I think it looks like the sun's starting to go down just a little bit as well.
Just start to see that bit of reddish haze coming to the back, and the lights are coming on the cars. Starting to get a few shadows.
As the photographers normally say, don't they? It's the happy hour for picture photography with the orange glow in the sky.
Again, the graphics are one of the things that set Auto Linguistics apart from its competitive racing games. It is absolutely outstanding for its ability to transition between night and day and dry and wet. Not to mention the physics and handling of these cars.
They do get a little bit of aero wash through the bus stop too, I've heard from some of the drivers. So you can see that's why Clarkey has dropped some time. He's obviously battling the car and can't get the flow through the corner like John Slow in front of him.
So let's jump on the roof, Neil, and take a lap around with Clarkey as we watch him chase down John Slow.
Definitely enjoy, guys, on the number 43 Daytona. We're on board. He had a big moment coming off the grass.
We'll quickly find something else. Quick, nothing to see here. Move along.
So that was a big moment from Clarkey. He'll be kicking himself because he was all ready to line up John Slow, but just get kicked in the outside of the grass, and the grass does not hold any grip at all here. And big moment here from G-Dude as well.
Oh, holds it through the grass.
So they do get warnings as well when they track cut. They got 3 warnings before they have to go through a drive-through penalty. So, oh, and what do we got here? We got, it looks like Dado.
And hunted down by Sato, trying to get his lap back.
Yeah, so Sato needs to be patient here because he doesn't want to ruin, obviously, Dado in position 4. He's got to respect that as well, even though Sato may think, you know, obviously he's the faster car. He's got no right to be able to be pushing so hard. He has got the right to pass, and Dado needs to be able to... Oh, and Dado! This is exactly what can happen, but I think Dado got out of that just in time.
And as you mentioned, Neil, the backwash of these, while it would have been making the front of Sato's car quite loose, it would have also replicated to the rear of Dado's car, and Dado's car would not have felt real happy braking into turn 1.
No, not at all, and that's what I mean. I just think that, well, yeah, especially coming through lap traffic too, Dado couldn't really get off the throttle into turn 1 to let Sato through. Normally on a normal lap where they weren't going through lap traffic, you'd think Dado doesn't want any part of Sato's business, so he would have probably come off the throttle, but he just couldn't do it because he had to come off the throttle because he's got to get past the GT3s at the same time. So Sato was really a bit impatient there and really probably didn't need to be so close either to a guy that's actually just biting to be in the podium position as well.
Well, it looks like Monkey's jumped up onto the back of Fish, so let's go take a look. The Porsche now running to in situ. Can they join forces to catch up to the Nissan in front?
Yeah, it looks like Fish has maybe had a little bit of a moment. I'm not too sure. Basically, he's done a 46. Everyone's in the 46s in the GT3s, the top 4 of the previous lap. They've dropped it roughly 9 seconds, Fish to Cuckoo. So, interesting one that. But don't the two Porsches look good together as well? You could almost say they're team cars. You've got the yellow and black, and then Fish Racing, well, he's more black and white, but they definitely look good. So headlights on now, they definitely need it, as the sun is probably behind the grandstand. Gunner is still leading this motor race at the 20-minute mark, just after the 20 minutes of this 2-hour 25-minute race. He's got a 4-second lead over John Slow, and then T-Betts is still in there. He's within 10 seconds of the lead, so T-Betts 82 is doing an outstanding job in 3rd position. And that's why Clarkey will be kicking himself. Oh, and there goes Fish. So Monkey. So here we go. We're ready for the Monkey supporters. He's now up into 2nd position. And all he's got in front of him now is clear track and a Nissan. So will we start seeing Monkey now put his head down and just move on up now? So try and get on the back of Cuckoo.
And just an interesting point here, Neil, we can see that Cuckoo 145.8, Fish was 145.6, and Kerner 145.8.
Yeah, so Colonel Lloyd, in the second of the Nissans, is matching Cuckoo's time pretty much. But as you said, Fish was the fastest the previous lap, but that doesn't help when you make a spin on the next lap. So as we've always said, endurance, it's about knocking those consistent laps, lap after lap.
And Fish is going to have to be consistent, because if he's not careful, Colonel Lloyd's going to be all over the back of him.
Yes, he looks like he's about a 2-second at the moment. They're good competitors, both Fish and Lloyd, good mates as well.
And Stu, running up number 14th car on track, has had a few issues in the Mercedes.
Doesn't that look good though? That nice car at night too, with this grey, silvery grey, German sort of stripes down as well for the Mercedes brand.
And it sounds fantastic.
Yeah, it does sound fantastic. It's unfortunate that we had Kempy withdraw his entry of the Mercedes as well. Would have been nice. And we've also had Rat Pigeon was going to be in he was going to be in a McLaren, sorry. Didn't actually make the session tonight. As Dado's in the pits, so is this from a little bit of that front end damage? He did touch his front left onto the side of Sado at turn 1 with that little incident, which I think...
We are 30 minutes into this race, so this could be a scheduled pit stop for Dado, just trying to settle himself after that little contact.
Yeah, I think about 25 minutes, remember, it was 2 hours 25, so just under the half an hour mark. And yeah, you are right though, the cars generally will need to pit every, I think they get roughly just over 32 minutes a stint of fuel for the DPIs, whereas the GT3s would probably get at least an hour.
16 laps down, we're probably looking around 22 laps will be max for the DPIs.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's jump aboard our leader.
Yeah, there's no way to check the fuel in the car, so even if we go inside the cockpit view, the fuel numbers don't really register what they do have. And there goes Colonel Lloyd around the outside of turn 1. I don't know if he was just being kind for the DPI or if he had a little moment in the braking area. But even if he did have a little area, it was very safe for him just to run wide and not have a spin, not fight it too hard. It's very important there, isn't it, really, for that turn 1, is you got to sort of, especially with the GT3s, I think you got to make sure you try and brake as much in a straight line you can. The corner does seem to want you to turn as you're braking as well, so you want to be only on light on the brakes if you are slightly turning at that point. If you're hard on the brakes, that's where we've seen a lot of the rear brakes lock up with the GT3 cars.
It is so one of those corners that's all or nothing, Neil.
It sure is, but they're so trimmed out on the aero too here at Daytona. So normally, especially with the Porsche too, they would normally run a lot more wing. Oh, look at the battle here for second position between Monkey's actually in front of Fish, as Fish had made a mistake, didn't he? So it looks like Monkey's got some damage there on the front of his car. It was looking pristine for the first 16 laps.
Yes.
And now he's clobbered, so he's losing. And Fish is actually blocking him. He can't get into the pits. So Fish has sort of checked him out. So big moment of this race. I think that I'm not too sure if Monkey wanted to go into the pits there or not, but Fish made sure that he wasn't able to cross the track over into pit lane.
And that is not just the front of the car, Neil. That is right down the side of the car. That's looking like he's had contact with another vehicle.
Yeah, or a tyre barrier. His tyres make a big mess too, so
maybe driving wide through turn 6 and 7, catching the outside of the tyre barriers.
So it'd be interesting to see, maybe if we can go on board and just see if he's got any steering damage, if it's sort of left hand down or right hand down, I guess. So I don't know if it sort of brings that sort of image up in the game. Used to, obviously, on Project Cars, you could see if the steering was pointing one way. So we'll wait till they get on the flat. You can see that fuel figure there, slowly going down with 68.8, but I don't know if that's actually the fuel numbers that he's really got in there. It'd be good if it was. It looks like it's a little bit right hand down to me.
It certainly does look like he's fighting with it, and it's struggling through the bus stop.
Yeah, I think the DPIs are coming through behind him too. It's just on the side of caution there. Who's that little battle there? They've got Clarkey, I think. To sort of pick up on those DPIs, if that's for battle or not.
Back to track side, where are we got?
Oh, he's into the pit. So Tim Betts it was, I think. So he's into the pit lane. So this all the leaders are in the pit lane. So that's all for fuel.
So we've seen Datto's already had a pit stop, although unwarranted. So he's clean running. So we'll see where Datto is in conjunction with the other DPIs when they come out.
Yeah, definitely. So
Sato's just made back a lap by the looks of it.
Yeah, and Scar is out in the front, so I don't know if Scar 666 actually went into the pits earlier, or if he's been able to just save on fuel a little bit.
I still think he's got maybe 1-2 more laps before his fuel window will expire. With most rolling out of the pits now.
Yeah, so Datto Racer is not too far away from Head Cheese now, I'd imagine, once he comes out of the pit lane. Be interesting to know where Datto actually is at this stage. So he's just coming onto so he is actually past Head Cheese while Head Cheese is in the pit lane.
Got Clarkey's just gone through the horseshoe.
Yeah, so Datto's lost out, obviously, with that little incident with Sato, because obviously he would have been in the pit lane for a little bit longer for the damage repair as well.
Chief's just coming out now.
So that was a busy moment for pit lane. We had everyone coming in, all the leaders. So we'll just see how it all turns out. Gunner's still got a nice little 5-second margin. So John Slade hasn't dropped too much time through the pit stop.
Might just jump aboard here as we can try to see the cars come out of the pits. And see if they'll give us a long shot of the field as they roll out of here.
So Cuckoo doing well, leading this GT3 field in the number 212 Nismo NZ Racing team. And Cuckoo, a resident of New Zealand as well.
He's just passed his other New Zealand counterpart, Stu, to put him a lap down.
Yeah, that's right. So, and also just a note too, Monkey's still out there circulating as well with that bit of damage and still matching time with Fish. Not that much difference there. So they're still locked in for battle.
We can see the GT3s have taken a bit of pace off. They were running in the 145s. Now most are running in the high 146s. So tyre wear is starting to play a bit of a part now to the handling of these cars.
That and also maybe a bit of tyre temperature as well, Tim, with the temperatures. They don't fluctuate too much, but they would have started at about 17 degrees, and we know it does get down to about 12 degrees later in the night. So there is that 5-degree temperature drop in the track. But while they circulate and they put in some decent lap times, the tyre temperature just stays on that operating, on the lower side of the operating window. But yeah, they will be feeling that the cars don't have the same grip like they did at the start for sure, with the wear and also the temperature change as well. So they've got to have their wits about them at this stage, and Cuckoo really understands that too, with Fish Racing still 5 seconds behind. So they've actually gained some time. So Cuckoo's had a little bit of, he did a 48 that previous lap, whereas all the other guys are doing 46s, the two Porsches.
Cuckoo may have run a little bit wide, giving some space to the DPIs when they came out of pits. So it was fairly congested because he did come through turns 2 and 3 with 3 DPIs as they came out of the pits. You see Fish now coming onto the back of Stu.
There's a nice little battle between Dado and Scar. Well, I think Dado actually got past Scar as well, because Dado was in 6th, so he's now up in the 5th position. So Dado's on a move, trying to see if he can latch onto Clark. He's 16 seconds behind. Roughly doing similar times. Look at that, the top 5 were all doing 35s the previous lap.
And Sato's, after the pit stop round, is back onto the lead lap. A bit of work to do to catch up, being a minute down. As Fish drives around the outside of Stu.
And then one of there's Gunner going through, the leader of the race, to start his second lap with an hour 51 remaining. The guys would only just be warming up, really, won't they, Tim?
Still a long way to go in this race, but the nerves would have settled well and truly by now. The guys should all be in their flow and rhythm. And it's easy to have a momentary lapse at this time of the race. Now we're in full night trim. The cars feel a bit different. Like you mentioned, the track temperature is a little bit colder. The cars wouldn't have the mechanical grip they had in the early stages of the race.
And this is where it would be good to be able to have some pit crew or some management of other data as well, because with Sato have to pit early for that damage, and we know he's got the pace to climb back to even a podium position, but he's 53 seconds and he's into the pits now, so obviously he's run his tank to the empty. But I was just going to say that now's the time, with an hour 50 remaining, it's really about, can he do some fuel saving or anything like that to try and have one less pit stop than everyone else. And that would obviously gain him some valuable time. But so you can't do it on the run. You just, while you're driving, you can't make those decisions. So pretty much he'll still just be going for it and just seeing what happens. But
yeah. Someone at the bus stop. I'm not too sure who it is.
Yeah, that's a slow-moving car, that's for sure. And he's still moving slow. This could actually bring out a virtual safety car, which I don't know if it comes up on our screen. Oh, that is Tim Betts. He's had a massive moment. And this is likely to maybe bring up a yellow card. I think it is a yellow. Is John slow damage? He's in the pits as well, or is it because the yellow has been called? Full course yellow. We'll know for full course yellow.
Damage on John, so he's probably taking advantage of a yellow.
And this could work out for Sato because he's only just taken the pit stop, so he can go right around and try and, as long as he didn't fall a lap down.
So it's just filtered through the field now. So Gunner leading by 20 seconds over Clarkey.
I don't think the safety car has come. Oh, it's not a safety car, but the full course yellow, because Gunner was still speeding, and when the full course yellow comes out, it tells him to slow down to 90 kilometres an hour.
Right, interesting thing here, Neil. Gunner currently the fastest lap with the DPIs. 134.9, almost half a second faster than Gunner.
Yep, and then we've just got Clarkey in second, who's just done a 34.6 as you were speaking. So, yeah, the two wild cards basically. Well, they're not wild cards. They're guys that have just been nipping at them during practice. Are showing that their consistent laps is definitely helping them. And if it wasn't for that little incident that Dado did have at turn 1, you'd think that he may be in second in front of Clark as well.
Drop back and have a look how Scar's going.
So Tim has made it into pit lane, but there was no full course yellow called by the look of the game.
I don't think there was any other cars involved in that incident. I think Tim's managed to do that by himself.
Yeah, we
again,
did have a full course yellow though, Tim. Sorry to cut you off there, buddy, but we did have it yesterday in our practice race where I think it might have been Scar himself actually had a big moment from the lead, and he was going off in the infield fairly well. He was going around about 80 kilometres an hour, and he brought up a full course yellow. And he did that all on himself too, so it was funny that it hadn't picked up with Tim. And Scar in the thick of things at the moment, not that far, only 5 seconds behind Dado.
Picking off a couple of the GT3s down the back straight. But I think Tim's just had a momentary lapse and missed his braking marker coming into the bus stop, or caught too much of the curb. As we said, this is the twilight sector of the race. The guys have survived the first half hour.
Yeah, so Tim is in there extensive damage in the pit, so he's got a long time. But G-Dude's in as well at the moment. I don't know if that's damage or if that's just for fuel.
Looks like could have been just for fuel. G-Dude could be on the way out now. G-Dude's out.
Nice one. Tim's got dropped all the way down now to 13th. I think he was running third, I think, at the time.
He was running third at the time.
As there's Monkey getting past Spice Gun.
Actually did the pit stop, but I don't think he, the game may not have refreshed the graphics. Although Monkey's still in front of Colonel Lloyd and GT3's haven't pitted, so...
John's slow in the pits again, so is he having some sort of issue with pit stop, because that's the second time that we've seen him in as many laps.
Or has he, that's the drive-through for him. Has he done too many track limits?
Could be. So he's had obviously a drive-through, or he sped out of pit lane maybe on his last pit stop. That could have been one too. It's a little bit frustrating, but this is where these little things happen in endurance racing. That you've got to try and avoid the little errors. It's all those, what do they say? You hear it always on the commentaries, all the 1%ers, isn't it? You've got to get right. And we got Highlander in watching as well, so he's one that's waiting for his new PC before he comes back into joining us here at ANZ Combined Racing League.
Hope you guys are all enjoying the stream this evening as we bring you the 2.4 hour Daytona for Oz New Zealand Combined Racing League on Automobilista 2. Watching John Slow in the World Bet DPI, currently running 6th on track. And I would say taking a line like that through the bus stop could be the reason for his drive-through, Neil.
Yeah, so as I said, they only get the 3 warnings before that drive-through will pop up for them. So he's got to respect those boundaries, the limits. But there we got, obviously, Clarkie's only 20 seconds behind Gunner, so he's been keeping that pace for a while, but he's into the 34.4s at the moment, so traffic could be a telling factor as well, with Gunner doing the 35.2.
He's just done a 138, so I'm thinking that he's had a slight moment.
Yeah, and also it could be also where he may have had to back off from a GT3. I can't quite see because of all the chat on the map. It doesn't look like GT3's behind him that much. There is one coming into turn 1 now, so I think, yeah, maybe he got held up at some stage with that car. Maybe. Could have been a possibility, unless that's Dado.
See where Dado is. No, it's Dado on track.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, as you said, it would have been a mistake from Clarkie, for sure.
As we've mentioned, this is the twilight section of the race. We've got a car parked off outside there somewhere. Someone stationary on the outside of that corner.
What was that? Oh, that's
Stu.
Stu. He's lost a wheel, so this should be a virtual safety car, and he's actually retired into the pit lane. He should have hopefully held out until his virtual safety car came out, because that could have thrown a little bit of strategic thing into the race.
Want to catch these marks. It's not saying this, but it fishes on the back of Cuckoo.
Yeah, sometimes the timing starts to play a little bit silly. If anything goes by with the project car's way, it does it too. So yeah, you're right. He's very close, but when we're looking at Fish Racing, you can see Cuckoo's only 0.4 of a second, but in the stand-ins, it doesn't replicate that.
Again, we comment about the mental strength of these two drivers. They're very experienced in these scenarios.
Maybe it'd be good to go on the roof here of Fish for a night lap around.
The Ferris wheel reflecting off the roof of the car.
Yeah, it's some nice reflections off the car. You can see the lights as well, the light stacks.
Cars in front.
So it looks like, to me, to be honest, that Cuckoo's rear tyres, or it just doesn't seem to be, it's moving around a lot. Seems to have
We are
lost.
30 laps in now, though, Neil. The mechanical grip of the Porsche is its strength. And the Nixon has more straight line speed.
So this is the battle for the lead, guys, and we're on board second place Fish Racing 3 and on the 82 Fanatec Porsche 911 GT3R. Can Cuckoo hold it out here with in his Nismo New Zealand Racing?
Would you take the dive down the inside, Neil?
I would. I think Cuckoo's making it clear he wants that inside, but I tell you what, the Porsche seems to want to be able to just go easy on the brakes a little bit mid there. Looks like Fish had to stay on the brakes a little bit harder. Just couldn't get it down the inside. This is where I think Fish needs to line him up, either the International and maybe the Western, but I just think the Nissan got a little bit of pull out of this corner and can sort of cover after coming through the kink.
I'm thinking Fish is looking at the time clock, going there's still 1.5 hours to go. Don't do anything stupid or rash.
Yeah, he's
back to the mist.
Yeah, I said he's already had a moment, hasn't he? We have seen Fish have a little bit of a spin with his battle he's been having with Monkey. He's only 8 seconds. Just under 8 seconds behind this battle. So Monkey with, as we know, a little bit of damage is probably going to slow him up on the pit stop for repairs. But he could come back even a oh, look at this as one of the DPIs come on through. That's the Fanatec one. That's Head Cheese. Oh no, that was Scarce. Sorry. The Rise Engineering Cadillac DPI. So that caught Fish out. So he's lost a little bit of time. And in comes Cuckoo for a pit stop. So that's what he was, managing his fuel. So he may just come off this on board back to track cam and could even see Cuckoo in pits. Getting all the work done on his car.
And just waiting for the fuel to go in. And that is a graphic there. The guys will be now doing the tyre change.
Yeah, they're a lazy pit crew, definitely. So it'd be interesting also with the DPIs. I'd say that they wouldn't be taking tyres maybe each stop. That's, I know Sato for one would be probably avoiding tyres to try and gain that little bit of extra time to try and make it up.
And Cuckoo is the first official stop for the GT3s. So we'll now follow closely Fish Racing to see when he will be coming into the pits.
Yeah, it's interesting that Colonel Lloyd didn't come in too for that lap either. So we'll see how long Colonel Lloyd can stay out. Because I don't think he hasn't had to be in the pits yet either for any damage. So he's been on track the whole time. So.
And still running in the 145, so he certainly has pace still in the Nissan. And it looks like he is staying out. Fish is staying out for another lap.
Yeah, the Porsches should be a lot better on the fuel, definitely, than the Nissans.
And it did sound like Fish was fuel saving when he was sitting up behind Cuckoo. He was coming off a little bit earlier down the straights.
Yeah, see, that's the luxury he did have, being in the tow as well, Tim. So that's another point. Yeah, exactly. He's been in the tow even when he was behind Monkey for a little while as well, when he made that mistake and Monkey was in front of him. So he has been able to save some fuel. Clark has just been able to nibble away at Gunner's lead at the moment. He's pulled him back 3 seconds to when he was 20 seconds behind. So Gunner could be just controlling this race as well, knowing that this is the danger part where errors can sort of crop in. They're getting to around that 50-minute mark. They've just gone past the 50-minute mark of racing. And every time they look up on the time remaining, there's still that over an hour and a half to go. They'll be going, oh, geez, still a long way to go.
Let's take a look at John Slow after the damage. He sits in...
Slide science, I'll just answer slide science. We lost Stu in the GT3 in the Mercedes. He had a massive moment out of the International Horseshoe and he'd lost his wheel. It looks like his front wheel, and he couldn't move the car. I think if he stayed there for about another 10 or 20 seconds more, we would have seen a virtual safety car come out, which I keep calling a virtual safety car, Tim. Can you tell me it's not that? It's just a full course yellow.
Course yellow, Neil. Full course yellow.
And that would have spiced a few things up. So, but anyway, that's how it is.
It certainly would have regrouped the field. They would have all lost any advantage of the time they gained. But Sato, after an early incident, is back up into 6th place now, and only 6 seconds off the back of Head Cheese, and almost 2 seconds a lap faster, so it won't be long before he catches.
Yeah, he's flying at the moment, but he's also, I think he's a lap down off the leaders, so he's got to wait till the leaders actually have their pit stop, which won't be too far away. I guess another maybe 6 laps, 7 laps, maybe 6 laps.
Yeah, they pitted between lap 18 and 20.
Yeah.
So between lap 36 and 40, we will start to see the DPIs come back in.
So Colonel Lloyd's in the pit lane as well.
Yep, so he's the second of the GT3s to take on fuel. And we would assume that they're also taking on tyres.
So it'd be interesting to know how long both Fish and Monkey can run in the Porsche.
We are 34 laps down. And almost an hour into the race.
So that's Gunner just there. So actually Sato is actually nearly on the back of Gunner to actually get his lap back. So that's how fast Sato's actually going, with a 33.8 that previous lap. So he means business. So I'm assuming Gunner is just going to let this man go. You do not want to get involved with a red mist Sato trying to get his lap back, as we saw with Dado earlier in the race. He won't do anything wrong as far as touching the car or anything, but he will, as we saw with Dado, he just mounts a lot of pressure and makes the driver in front thinking, well, you know, do I just let this driver through or what? Because you get that doubt in your head that added pressure that it's coming your way from a car making his lap back. Knowing that he's catching Gunner so quick, I think Gunner's got the experience to know that, yeah, Sato's got the pace, just let him go.
As you mentioned, the aero wash on these cars.
Yeah, there you go. So Gunners just ran wide purposely to let Sato right through so he didn't get into any of Sato's business.
Although it may have paid advantage for him to duck in behind and get a bit of a slipstream off Sato, because the gap between 1 and 2, Clarkie's now 15 seconds back, so he is still gaining over a second a lap on Gunner.
Yeah, so Dado's in for his scheduled pit stop. As he went in the pits just before Gunner, so Gunner will either be in this lap or the next lap. And we saw, and you'll see Clarkie and Scar probably coming in as well when Gunner comes in.
And even though Sato had to take the early pit stop, I'm sure he is running the maths in his head to try and calculate how he can get home with the least amount of stops from here.
Yeah, definitely, but still knocking out these times as well. It's amazing that he could even do those maths.
That's one of the advantages of Daytona. You do have a couple of long straights to get a bit of rest and to reset yourself and to run a bit of figures through your head to try and calculate what your next move is.
So this looks like this is that
John Slow.
that's Head Cheese, I think.
So he's caught up to the back of Head Cheese. And then Gatto will be next.
So Head Cheese isn't too far about being actually a lap down to Gunner as well, so Gunner's not too far behind him.
To give him credit, he's running a great clean race. He's not overdriving the car, he's putting in consistent laps.
This is Head Cheese, yeah, definitely. Worthwhile having a little look at him because he's doing a great job.
So as you can see, the Fanatec number 3 DPI is clean and straight, no damage. You see Gunner now pass around the outside. Head Cheese now officially 1 lap down.
Yeah, but he'll be happy there in 6th position at the moment. He knows that these cars are a lot faster than all in front of him.
And I think he's going to enjoy a great battle with John Slow.
Most of the enjoyment as well, as we know, Tim, is just the enjoyment of actually finishing these races as well is an achievement, isn't it?
Absolutely, as we found with Stu, and we can see in the background, Stu's tyre is still on the outside of the track.
Yeah, they should have caught the yellow to be able to remove that. But anyway, we didn't quite get the full course yellow that we were all hoping for. That's one thing I actually did forget to say in the driver briefing too. I only mentioned it late last night. The guys that remained it after our practice session, I said I think if someone has a big moment and they can't get back to the pits, to just sit there until the full course yellow gets called and then return to pits, because that way there it's more realistic, like the rescue cars that come out to pick you up, and give us a full course yellow to enjoy as well. But anyway,
let's jump on board Monkey, because an interesting point here, the Porsches are yet to pit.
Yeah, he's about to lap, or he has just lapped, oh, there goes Lloyd. I'm going to say he's going to lap Lloyd, and Lloyd's gone straight off through the dog leg, missed it. And he's got to be careful if he's taken the actual inside corner of the Western Horseshoe. Hopefully that doesn't miscount his lap, because that will ruin Colonel Lloyd's race totally if it did.
It's a mandatory drive-through, is it, Neil, for cutting?
Yeah, I'm not too sure what they do. There's only whatever the rules say in the game, but yeah, it'd be interesting if... I'm assuming the game will still include this lap that he's just done. So we will know by the next lap if it goes down from the 2-minute lap time from his pit stop or whatever he did. I don't think that was the pit stop the previous lap, so he had a slow lap the previous lap as well.
And Fish is going around again, so 39 laps in now for the Porsche.
So the question is, well, here comes Monkey. So Monkey's in.
And coming up to the 1 hour mark, which means these cars will not make it home without a splash and dash.
No, they won't. But that's one thing to know, that they won't be stationary for as long as the Nissan of Cuckoo. Why Cuckoo will have to obviously get a lot more fuel in the next stop. So they all have to have one more stop. But Lloydie's time did get recorded that previous lap, so that cut that he did do, recovering off the grass, it didn't invalidate the full lap. So there's obviously some parts of the infield that you could cut right through and miss so much. I think if you miss actually a sector is where you don't get that doesn't record the lap. So it looks like a tidy pit stop for Monkey.
We'll stay with Monkey. We'll see where he comes out in relation to Cuckoo. As we say, Cuckoo's coming down the start-finish line now.
Yeah, so I think Cuckoo will get him because he's about to pass him equally now, I think, from the map. So there you go. So that's the position and change Cuckoo back into second.
Cuckoo is the red dot with the white spot in the middle. That depicts a car that's on the same lap. The full red dots will be cars that are laps up, so they'll be the DPIs. And any car that is a blue circle will be a lap down. Expecting Fish coming around now. We can see Scar and Sato are both in the pits. And Fish is going for 40 laps without a pit stop.
Yeah, it'll be actually a couple of laps down on Gunner though, won't it? Because they've been laps down, so I don't think he's quite done 40 laps. Because I think Gunner's on lap 39.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't show the laps for the GT3s, does it?
No. You have to sort of calculate how many laps he'd be down. About 6 minutes behind, so you'd sort of say that he's probably about 4 laps below that, so probably around about 35 laps. The Fish has done a tremendous job actually to be still circulating without having a pit stop yet for fuel, so he's either done some fuel saving, but he's got to make sure, hopefully for his next strategy, he doesn't have to actually put in a full tank of fuel. Because it'll neutralise actually his advantage he would have on Cuckoo on the amount of time that he has to be stationary in pit lane. And that'll be the same as Monkey, so they'd be hoping that they will be toggling the amount of fuel that they're going to need for their next scheduled pit stop after this one. This Fish still continues on.
Still continues on. But the interesting point here, Neil, is Monkey is only 20 seconds off the back of Cuckoo.
Yes.
Stop.
So Cuckoo might have been in there for a little bit. I mean, Monkey might have been in there for a little bit longer for some of that damage repair, maybe.
I think he was, because Monkey was nearly 30 seconds off the pace. Because Cuckoo had, when Cuckoo first went into the pits, he had a 15-second lead over Fish. And Monkey was another 15 seconds back.
No, sorry, I think Fish had caught up to him, I remember. Fish was actually...
caught up to Cuckoo, because looks like Cuckoo must have had a miss somewhere.
Yeah, so Fish had actually caught back up to Cuckoo because we were on board, I think, Fish, when Cuckoo went into pit lane.
So the monkey must not have done any repairs for damage. He must be happy with how the car's still handling.
We'll have to keep an eye on also for position 4 and 3 with John Slow in 4th position, chasing down Dado. He's actually been faster the last few laps and slowly reducing that deficit after John Slow had to serve a drive-through penalty. And Clarkie's still in 2nd, under 30 seconds from the lead of Gunner. So Gunner's actually controlled this race once Sato made the mistake from the lead. Had a kind of a lonely race, but Fish is now finally into the pit, so this is the more interesting one to see. Is Fish he's actually been doing the 45s for a fair while, so I reckon he may even pop out in front of Cuckoo, Tim.
We'll jump on Cuckoo to watch him come around. We'll see where he is on track in conjunction with Fish when he exits the pits. He's still coming through turns 7 and 8. Coming around on the back straight into the 3rd sector.
I'm keeping an eye on the map here to see when Fish's dot starts moving, which it's now doing. So he's just left his pit bay. So I think Fish has done this because there's still a long way for Cuckoo to get onto the back of Fish, and Fish is out of the pit lane. Or he's traversing pit exit lane around turn 1. So Cuckoo needs to find some time back in this Nissan. He's lost his grip on Fish Racing. He was leading the race all the way until the pit stops. And John Slow is now in pit lane as well, so I wonder if that's a scheduled pit stop for John. He was out because of he came in for some repair, I think it was, when Tim Betts had a massive moment as well. So it's good to see Tim Betts back in the 9th position in the DPI, so he's been able to get through all the GT3s. And he doesn't look like he's that far, if the timing's right, he's not that far from G-Dude either. Worthwhile maybe just clicking on to T Betts, and so we can have a look at the top part of the screen to see how far he's from G-Dude. Yeah, so the timing's about right for those two. He's 3 seconds behind G-Dude.
You can see G-Dude just coming now onto the start-finish. And then we've got 2 cars battling further up the track. So I'm trying to work out.
So John Slow has just come out of pit lane too, so the battle's on between these two, I think. We'll just see where, if we go back to John Slow, I think he's only just pulled out in front of G-Dude.
Looks like Sato was just past Scar.
Yeah, so G-Dude is only behind, actually no, sorry, they're along they're along, if the timings were wrong. It's a minute and a half behind G-Dude. So he's just pulled out, yeah, so you got Tim Betts just in front of him at the moment, about to come down a lap from John Slow. That's what we're looking at. Wash for John Slow. Can he pull it up without an incident? Yes, he can. That was a big moment from John Slow in the Phoenix Racing number 10 car. His teammate Night Pegasus couldn't make it. Missed the flight. Well, he was here during practice. He's probably been seen at one of the local bars or something. Losing track of time.
Tim Betts has ducked into the pits.
Yeah, that would be scheduled, I'd say, because it didn't look like there was any damage when we'd seen Tim earlier. But
obviously Tim's a lap down, struggling from an incident through the bus stop earlier in the race.
I want to have a little look at G-Dude too, why it's all a bit neutralised at the moment out on track. So G-Dude in the number 12 Kalex Petroleum, which I'd like to say Caltex. And it's a nice car too at night. It's good.
And is there a track limit for running wide through turn 7, Neil? Are you aware?
No, I don't think so. Not at all. Geez, he's close to the wall. Coming down the back straight there. He's got a nice run through the bus stop there. He's got nice lines. He's slow though from his best lap that he's done, so either he's had a moment somewhere that we didn't see, or could have been actually even when John Slow was passing him down the into turn 1 earlier. He backed out of it, I'd say. He's doing a good run too, in 8th position. Kept it clean. Just shows that all levels are welcome here at ANZ Combined Racing League. And it's probably the guys still learning or still trying to get up to speed with some of the cars. It's just good to get a nice safe car and not push too hard. And keep it clean like G-Dude, and you can have a more enjoyable race if you don't have to visit the pit lane too often. And it's also a great experience as well.
Great job here for his sponsors. We see the flames flying around the back of his car as he backs off, coming through turns 6 and 7.
G-Dude's another one of the drivers from Gravel Trap Legends. Joining in for our special events that we run here at ANZCRL. It's good to see. So this is our first one for the year. And we did our first one last year. We did the Bathurst 12 hour. So we'll be doing that one again this year. And we also did an IndyCar race, like a Cleveland Grand Prix, reenacted that from back in the day. And of course we did the Bathurst, we did a Bathurst 500, so it was half race distance. And we also did the Adelaide 500. We did an Adelaide 50, I think it was 225 lap races we did. We didn't do the 78 lap races like they do in real life. This year we're planning to obviously do the full 278 laps for the Adelaide 500, and hoping with our numbers that we get, we might do the full Bathurst 1000 as well over either 2 or 4 sessions. So if we do 4 sessions, it'll be 40 lap sessions, with the final one being 41 laps, and it gives the opportunities for drivers to have driver swaps, like change drivers in between the sessions. We've done it before on Xbox Project Cars 2 back in the day, and it works fairly well. As we're looking back at JWM Clarkey in 2nd position, still chasing down Garner, keeping him honest, doing a 35.165. It's just the old seesawing as they navigate through traffic, but the top 3 are in the 35s.
I don't think Clarkey would want to have too many more lines through the bus stop. That could trigger a drive-through, which would cause him to drop a position to Dado. And we'll keep an eye on Cuckoo, who is catching fish for the lead for the GT3 class. And there's now only 5 seconds between the two cars.
So they're past halfway race distance. What would you be telling your drivers if you could actually tell one of these drivers? What would you be trying to, would you be coaching them through things, or would you just be giving them some sound advice? What would you be wanting to relay to your drivers at this part of the race?
Now would be the time to focus. All the cars would be expecting to have at least one pit stop remaining. The fuel calculation should all be achieved by now, and we won't be far before we'll start to see the sunrise, and that will change the characteristics of the track again.
Yeah, and that's definitely a point, isn't it, Tim? The track change.
Get that early morning, we'll see the turbo of the Nissans come into play. They'll certainly enjoy that moist, cool air as the sun rises. But as it starts to dry out again, we'll see the power of the Porsche come back in. We see it time and time again at Bathurst every year. They've got the turbocharged cars have that little window around sunrise. And we've got someone off the end of turn 1. I can't quite work out who that is. I've got going again.
Nice little lap there by Clark too with a 34.9. He's pushing though, as you said, Tim, earlier about through the bus stop. I'm cringing every time we see him through there on the exit. Just thinking, is he taking too much of that inside curb? But at this stage he's still motoring, but even when they get a drive through, I think they don't have to serve it straight away either, so I don't know if there's a limit. They just need to obviously take it somewhere along the line.
5 laps, I think, from memory.
Okay.
So there is a time limit for it to be taken, and it can't be taken on the pit stop.
Yes, that's an important one too. He cuts a lot of corner there in turn 6. He had his inside wheels knocking up a bit of dust and dirt. He's definitely pushing. He's on a charge, as we said earlier at the top of the broadcast. This Clarkey took out his split at iRacing Daytona 24 last weekend. What a better way to come into Automobilista 2 and try and do the double. Oh, he definitely had no wheel on the track then. And then for the real life enthusiasts, obviously we've got the real life event. So most of us should be able to watch on ANZCRL TV. 5:40 in the morning tomorrow, Australian Eastern Daylight Time, just before 20 to 6. As G-Dude's into the pits, what will be a scheduled stop. So he'll probably have to still do another 2 stops, Tim. He'll have only about 30 minutes running. So we'll have to do another stop, and then probably one at the very end, a splash and dash. As there's the monkey. I won't say the monkey because he's coming third, and he's still in a winning position. Oh, who's out on the grass there? It's one of the. I think that might be. Yeah, head cheese. Well picked up, Tim.
That looks like it's not tracking too well there.
No, but
just a bit of grass.
Yeah, but it does look like he's got some front end damage here. And it looks like he'll be struggling.
Yep.
Yeah, he's fighting that car. So we'll see if this ends up being a virtual safety car. Oh, there you go again, the full course yellow. This virtual safety car that's in my head. Oh, he's lost a wheel, so this is definitely, we will probably see a safety car. Now the big question, where is Sato in all this? Is he would be due for a pit stop shortly, and this may play in his hands. We won't know about, the only way we can find out if there's a virtual safety car, Tim, is by keeping an eye on Gunner and see if he slows dramatically, because it will tell him that he needs to slow down to 90 kilometres an hour.
It's not the case at this stage.
No, it seems like it's a very fickle way of having the full course yellows. As Dado in third position, and Scar's not too far away from him either, 20 seconds behind.
So Clarkey just coming through. So as Dado comes around through the horseshoe, Clarkey's coming onto the rear straight. But we've got Stars just coming around through turn 1s and turn 2. So we're still over an hour to go. It's anyone's race at this stage. There's still plenty of opportunity should anyone make a mistake.
Yeah, it's just for a viewer's point of view, it's just a shame that this hasn't brought out a full course yellow, because it would have obviously brought all the pack close together, especially in this DPI field.
Head Cheese has been able to make it back to the pits, even while missing a tyre. That would have been a pretty uncomfortable pass.
Oh, he's stopped here, so wonder if he's actually going to try. This is wonder if he's trying to. No, he's retired in the pit. So what happened there?
We'll have to find that out after the race. We haven't got communication with the teams or the drivers at this stage, Neil.
No, so that maybe blew an engine just right there at the end, dragging that front wheel with all that damage, suspension damage. Maybe that's what's happened.
So with 12 cars remaining, we've got 8 DPI and 4 GT3s. Well, things are about to hot up in the GT3s, Neil, because Cuckoo is within 3 seconds of Fish.
Oh, there you go. So we may be able to jump on board with the GT3s, as it all seems to be a little bit stagnated here at the moment. But it's maybe it's the timings aren't quite correct again, Tim. So we've got about a 20-second gap.
All right.
Up on the viewing from the driver ahead, but from Cuckoo. But the standings are showing, as you said, are all over the shot. So.
On the track map, we've got Cuckoo just coming out of the bus stop, and Fish has passed the start-finish line, coming into turn 1.
And Monkey's through the bus stop behind him. So he's got 12 seconds gap to Monkey behind him. So these guys will just be now just getting through these laps. And obviously, as you said, if you were coaching these drivers at this stage or communicating to them, that's what you'd be trying to do, is just keep their attention on a lap time, maybe trying to keep it within a lap time.
And Neil, we are at sunrise.
The sun's starting to come through.
It's just looking a bit brighter out there around the track.
That's probably a time where it's still a little bit dark on the eastern side. We're all hoping for it to start to get a little bit light. Seems like it's been dark forever, but when you look at it, there's still an hour left in this race. So, and it is their winter time, so it would be darker more than it's light.
Maybe another 15-20 minutes before we start to see full daylight.
So we've lost 2 cars so far. We lost Stu earlier with a front left tyre off the car, and then we've lost another front left from Head Cheese. After we were watching Head Cheese run after a bit of damage, and we saw the tyre come straight off the front of his car.
Just seen Dado go past on the high side as he runs in position 3 in the DPI class.
I tell you what, Sato would have been just screaming out for that the full course yellow then, because that would have brought him right up to the field, and he may have even gone for the opportunity to try and duck in for a quick pit stop and get a cheeky free pit stop. While the cars are reduced down to that 90km/h speed limit for a lap.
Earlier, Neil, the Nissans are going to have to take on more fuel than the Porsche. So the Porsche run a full 7 laps further into this race than the Nissan did on a full tank of fuel.
Yeah, it's a big margin, isn't it? So Cuckoo has got a lot of work cut out. He's not really making too much inroads on Fish at the moment.
The ability of the fuel range for the Porsche could bring Monkey up into play. Monkey could be contesting Cuckoo for second place.
Yeah, most definitely. That's definitely on the cards, as long as Monkey has reduced the amount of fuel level that he's going to be putting into that car. Well, the only other safe option to do as well is you pit a lap after Kuka goes in and just fill it up, because you'd already have the fuel in the car. But obviously, the less fuel you have in the car, the better. So the little splash and dash that they want to put in anyway, that's probably the fastest way to do it.
Although you don't want to do a darkie, Neil, and you don't want to finish out of fuel 300 metres before the first finish line.
And that was in a Porsche, I believe, too, wasn't it? I think.
Was it?
Back, was it last year or the year before? I can't remember. But yeah, he ran out of fuel and rolled over the finish line.
We'll drop back and see how Colonel Lloyd's going.
So he's got Monkey 32 seconds in front of him. 45.2 that previous lap. Fastest GT3 car out on that previous lap. Interesting to see if that's the pace he's been running.
Obviously, Colonel's been doing some big laps in the Assetto Corsa competitor zone, preparing for the Bathurst 12-hour coming up.
Yes, that's right. With OOR. And same as with Monkey as well. I think Monkey's in with the OOR crew as well.
It's great to see some of these guys diversifying. We've got a Sato who also races iRacing, and Dado who's also getting into iRacing. John Slow has a myriad of games under his belt. I know he enjoys R-Factor 2 for some of the vehicle classes, and also ACC and Formula 1.
As Gunner comes into the pits as well from the lead. Look at Colonel Lloyd, he's actually up on his fastest lap he's done of the race, so he's absolutely flying. He's found some late pace in this Nissan. So this could be his fastest lap of the race that we're going to see here.
Can he get it into a 144?
Oh, no, not quite.
Sure. But both of the Nissans, the Porsches are running in the 147s, and both Nissans are running in the 145s.
It could be the sweet spot with the fuel level as well. Mid fuel tanks.
So where's Cuckoo? Cuckoo's coming around now. So Cuckoo is making gains on Fish. with 55 minutes to go, I don't think he's going to have enough gain, because the Porsche is going to take the advantage of the shorter fuel stop.
And that's only if Fish, like everything goes to plan too, because this, as we said, the fatigue level. Fish is also just finished qualifying on iRacing for a Bathurst 12-hour with a league. And then he's into the race tomorrow for a 12-hour with a team event. So fatigue levels for Fish could be starting to really settle in as well. And you never know, if a little spin here or there, and especially if you get caught out on this slippery grass, that 15-second lead he's got can be evaporated fairly quick.
As we know, the Porsches are known for having Porsche moments.
That's exactly right. You got to remember too, they've still got to think with these faster DPIs as well. So we all know that how a car coming in the wrong spot, especially when these cars are on edge, and a forceful DPI could actually cause you to have an incident that could actually give you damage, which would pretty much be race over at this stage of the game as well. So they got to have their wits about them. They got to be knowing and having a look at the radar, their map, seeing where the DPIs are, and either this is why I think you start seeing some of these different laps. You know, Fish was doing 47s and all that as well. Is maybe he's lifting off earlier to let these cars through, so he doesn't get involved in any pressure moments.
Or he could be taking advantage of the 10-second gap to fuel save.
Well, that's exactly right too, but I think at this stage, I think they've got enough fuel saving to know that they don't really need to do that. They can just short fill it compared to the Nissans to get to the end. So these guys are they're going to need one more stop, whereas most of the DPIs are going to need two more with one scheduled stop, or like a full fuel run, and then they might just need a splash and dash to get to the end. This is where Sato might come into handy. He may, you know, because they have to have that splash and dash. Sato won't need the splash and dash. So with Sato now effectively in third position, this is what could happen. Exactly at the end of the race here, Sato could find himself in third position because all the other cars have had to have a little splash and dash.
We will mention that Gatto is out of sync because he has had a pit stop.
That's right. He comes in before the leaders.
So he'll be running in third position at this stage.
But see, this is what's going to happen at the end of the race. So here they come. So Sato and both Scar are now roughly on the same strategy to the end.
And they are driving for position.
Exactly. So this is going to be interesting to see. So the other three cars of obviously Dado, Clarkey and Gunner, they're going to be the ones that are going to need that little splash and dash at the end.
And the interesting point is Dado's coming past now. Slide back up into third position.
Yep. Oh, just a little protest at the rear end on the brakes. And he's been able to fight that steering wheel and keep it pointing straight. And you've got John Slow just behind. So this is where the battle is. This is where the action is. Obviously with Dado and the battle with John Slow.
And soon to be Sato.
And also just remember Cuckoo now is in the pit. So he's taken the Nissan into pit. So it's got the two Porsches back, 1-2 again. So this will be Cuckoo's final pit stop. Yeah, with 50 minutes to go, as Tim just said.
I don't think he can run 50 minutes worth of fuel.
It will be close.
That may require a splash and dash, no?
Yeah, he may need to, as you said, he may just need to lift off a little bit, coast a little bit to get to the end, to hold on to this second position. But with Monkey being able to go full pelt, I think these Porsches are looking fairly strong for a 1-2 tonight. But I can't say much. I'm still thinking this podium between Gunner, Clarkey and Dado is not yet decided on. Because you've got John Slow coming in hard. You've got Sato and Scar both together, and they're both on a different strategy to these guys. We know that Sato and Scar are going to still need to pit again. Just like these other cars are going to have to pit yet twice. So their second stop was only going to be for short for a splash and dash. But that's the thing. Sato and Scar only need to, they either can fill up their tanks in their next stop or short fill it, make sure they get the right numbers to get to the end. They could well and truly be in contention here. So don't count them out.
Gunner, Clarkey and John all need another stop.
Well, they're still waiting for their scheduled stop. I think they'll be stopping very shortly because Dado would normally pit, I think, 2 or 3 laps before them. And it's around that number now.
So we should see the 1 and 2 cars class for DPI pit in the next 2 laps. John Slow is out of pit sequence, but I'm not too sure how much further he can run without requiring a pit stop.
We may just go actually on board, like actually driver view on this one, and we'll actually get to see as the light gets, the sky gets a bit lighter. So the car will be great. That's the one. You can see there the fuel says 6.7, so maybe this is actually giving us the graphic here in the broadcast booth, which is absolutely brilliant, other than the gearing. So he's averaging 1.75 litres a lap, if that's right. And he's got 5.8 litres. So let's say on board, when he's battling Dado here, it's Dado's rear again. He's protesting. I think these fuel numbers actually working, to be honest, Tim. Can you see that in your screen? Is it actually going down?
Can see that going down. We'll quickly jump into Dado's. Dado's is up to 29, so Dado's got a full tank.
There you go. So there's actually a true reading, so that's excellent to see.
Just out of that, John's got almost caught the back of Dado there.
This is the battle for third. Oh, little touch.
Lucky to miss that tyre bump along the outside there for Dado.
Yeah, that was forceful by Dado as well. He was claiming that corner. But John was also poking his nose in very danger land as well, so bit of a racing incident there.
Dado in hindsight knowing
oh,
that John...
this is the second time John has now missed his braking through there.
I'm wondering if he's carrying a little bit of damage after that little tap with Dado.
I'd say so. Dado picked up a bit of damage from just hitting I think a cone or something earlier. So here he comes, he's in the fuel because he wouldn't get another lap. So 2.4 litres, 2.3 with an average of 1.78. So this is, if we only knew this a little bit earlier.
Let's jump on with Gunner. So Gunner's completed his pit stop. He's running with a full tank now. So one more stop for Gunner.
Gunner's only had 19 litres on my screen then. I don't think he had a full tank.
24. So he would have completed his pit stop.
It's got 18 on mine, so maybe we've got different figures. So there might be a little bit of a bug there. And I've got 16.4.
So 16 there. Dado carrying the most amount of fuel, which we know.
Let's have a look at Sato and Scar, because they'll be a bit lower than Dado. I mean, actually, no, they got more because that's where they pitted just recently. Jim Betts has got none. 6.5 litres on my screen, so...
Let's see what John's got a full tank now.
75 litres. Just reading those figures out just to see if that's the numbers you're getting. I've got 75.2.
So just looking down to 75 now.
Yep.
I wonder if we can do the same in the GT3 because I have a fuel dash.
Let's 64.
I've got 43.6. Not overly accurate, but we do have a reading.
Yeah, well, I got 63.7, so yeah, it's a weird sort of thing how we're getting different feeds there. But what's Monkey got? 52?
Yep, 52. Journal's dashboard going up, so that's all good.
Can't see any fuel levels though.
Nope. And Cuckoo's got the same dashboard.
Yeah. Alright, so it's pretty hard to find out what they've got with the fuel number. But we know they've got fuel to the end, but we just don't know, or we don't know, do we? We were saying before, Cuckoo may just not have enough. He may have to have a splash and dash at the very end.
Let's track this. Let's see what the Nissan can get up to. He's not really got a tow. He's a little bit too far out for a tow. So
282.
283.
Yeah.
Fish goes down the back straight and jump back on board.
Look at that mist hanging around the infield here at Daytona as the sun's just starting to come up. So they're sort of saying that maybe the view that they're getting on the stream is probably a little bit more accurate. So maybe I'm getting a different figure from what you're getting, Tim. Seems to be a silly kind of bug if you're I'm basically getting what you're feeding me.
So we'll be sure to take note of these and report it back through to Reza.
Yeah.
The broadcast suite is still in development.
Oh, doesn't that look good with the black and the little electric red lines showing up here in this early morning sunlight coming through.
Note in one of the races I did last year that the cars do tend to handle a little bit differently when the fog's around.
Yes.
So that is something to take into account at the moment. The guys are managing the way the cars are performing, the mechanical and aero grip.
So they've come out of the darkness now. The drivers will be loving this now. It'll really perk them on knowing that there's less than 45 minutes remaining of a race, which is probably generally a normal league race event, around the 40-minute to 45-minute race. So they can see light at the end of the tunnel, you could say, but they've got to get through this mist at this moment. It's really thick, isn't it?
We can show you that the lap times have been affected. We are running. The GT3s are running in the 147s to 149s. And we'd expect that to drop back down to the 145s once the weather clears up.
Have a look at that though. I've just noticed then I had a look at Dado Racer in second. Clark Hughes dropped to third. Oh, and that's the reason why Clarky's had a massive moment. He's lost the wing. So Sado, of all things, have been stone last early on. Has now found himself into third position. Yes, he's out of sequence, but we think that he's well and truly in the hunt with the way that the pit stops are going to play out at the end of this race.
If we look at the track map, Neil, we can see Sado's just come through the horseshoe and Dado was just coming through the west horseshoe. So there's not much in them on track.
No, there's not at all.
Almost 1.5 seconds difference between the two cars at the moment. We'd expect in the next 4 to 5 laps that Sado will be all over the back of Dado Racer.
What an outstanding drive from Sado, like a comeback drive. Obviously had a momentary lapse of judgment on the opening lap and caused all the damage you can see on the car. It has been repaired, but obviously a lot of visual damage, and the car's performing fairly well with being the fastest car pretty much consistently since through the night, really, hasn't he? I think, Tim.
And considering he was more than almost 2 minutes down, so he's gained back over about a minute on the lead car in the last hour and a half.
Yep, he's driving very strong. But again, he would be very frustrated in the way that he's performed, in the way that he made that mistake, because he would be given that battle to Gunner all race long, and he'd probably be actually out in front at this stage. But then again, we just don't know. I think Gunner's also just treading carefully, managing this race.
He's got a comfortable lead, and it doesn't look like he's pushing himself too hard. Unlike Sato, we can see him doing a big power slide coming into turns 6 and 7.
So unfortunately, it looks like we've actually lost Clarkey. He is gone, so that's not a good sign. He had that damage, and maybe that was enough for him. It's unfortunate though. There's only 38 minutes remaining. Not too sure. Maybe it might have ended up being terminal or something happened there, but the only other thing I can think of too, if he sped through pit lane, he did seem like he was coming into the pit lane fairly quick, and if that's the case, you do get disqualified. So it could have been a disqualification from Clarkey as well.
We started with 14 cars, Neil. We're down to 10 now. So we've still got forward GT3s and 6 DPI.
That's right. We had 9 DPI to start with and 4 or 5 GT3s. So there's still some support out there for Monkey, just slowly. So he's still now just under 20 seconds behind Fish, as we've got obviously Sato coming through. And Sato, oh, that was a little bit of a moment for Sato, but controlled that very well.
Able to get on the brakes and pull it up, otherwise that could have been disaster for both cars.
Yeah, definitely, and you've got obviously the class challenger for the lead here with Monkey in second, and they're obviously aiming for a Porsche 1-2, but they both want glory. Fish and Monkey, they don't want to be second fiddle. They're going to fight it all the way to the end with this last 37 minutes of this race.
Now we do need to take count. Can Cuckoo make it to the finish, to the end without another pit stop?
Yeah, well, it's going to be touch and go, isn't it? We've been talking. You actually brought that up earlier when there was 50 minutes remaining, saying that he may struggle to get to the end because he was the first of the GT3s to pit for fuel. Nissan was, but then Colonel Lloyd was able to manage another couple of laps after that too. So
let's jump on board, because the Porsche does give us a fuel count, so 38 litres.
Yeah, that's correct, 38.
And we would think the Porsches at least have to do a pit stop. They're not going to be able to make it home without fuel, if not fuel and tyres, depending on how the car.
Yeah, definitely they'll be going for fuel. Then that would be the question. I think Fish will definitely probably just go fuel without tyres, but will Monkey put the tyres on and try and fight that deficit? I think they lose around about 10 to 12 seconds to get tyres on. But would he be able to make that up on track with fresh tyres compared to Fish? That's the big question.
Monkey looks like he's got the car dialed in. Looks like he's feeling quite comfortable. But again, we can see the pace of the Porsche at the moment over the pace of the two Nissans. There's a big separation. Fish obviously having a slight moment to be running a 150. Monkey 147. both of the Nissans are closer to 144. Colonel Lloyd's now in the pits.
Yes, that'll be his final stop. He's out, so it was a fairly quick one, so it was obviously just enough to get him to the end. Unless that was a drive-through, he'd been cut through the bus stop chicane.
Again, unfortunately, the broadcast suite doesn't give us the warnings or penalties applied. We're unaware.
Yeah, obviously that would be one great little feature if we could have that, especially you as being the race director, having all that on your screen. And doesn't necessarily have to be on my screen as I'm the broadcaster, so I'm only getting what you feed me. It's a good way to have the game though. I really enjoy the option of being able to have that, having a director be able to feed all the information to the end result for the viewers.
So we've got Monkeys just coming onto the back straight now. And we've got Cuckoo coming around turns 12 and 13 onto the start-finish line. So I'm thinking the adjustment, even with the pit stop, Cuckoo and Monkey are going to be fairly close to track position.
Yeah, it's going to be close, and look at Gunner as well. I think he still needs to yet to have a pit stop, but he's almost going to lap the field. See, now my one comes up with 0 fuel.
Yep, and so is mine. But we are expecting that he would be very low on fuel, and he should be coming in the next couple of laps, we would expect.
So at a brief moment of where we got to see all the fuel loads, it seemed to be working well because they're all coming in the pits with that fuel level being correct, and then we go back into it and it's not there. So it's unfortunate, but there's all these little inconsistencies, you could call it.
And again, the guys have said that we are pushing the limits of auto limits 2, so we'll be reporting all these back to reason, and hopefully there will be an improvements to the broadcast suite in.
Oof, he's run wide there, Gunner.
We're looking at the track map. Gunner is on his own. He is now a lap up on the entire field. There are no red dots on the track map for him.
Yeah, I think at this stage you've got to wait till the cars like Dado will see, well, you have to just swap to you're looking at, but yeah, you'll see that when one of the cars actually get onto the same lap, they'll actually change to the red and white. So as we know, Gunner's not quite a lap on everyone.
Because that's Sato and Dado racing for second place, so this is for track position.
Oh yeah, so this is where it could get a bit feisty because Dado's wouldn't be too happy with the little moment him and Sato had. Oh, Sato has been brake checked by Dado almost.
But great save.
Yeah, it was a good save, good awareness driving by Sato. Dado almost looked like he moved around in the braking area, which is sometimes a bit of a no-no, but he was braking on a diagonal, which is normally can be the line in too for the Western Horseshoe, to be fair. So I think Sato knew that, so that's why he didn't end up going off the track fully. He just ran wide, knowing that Dado did take the line.
Sato is known for having some red mist in moments like that. So let's see if he can keep his cool and get his composure back.
And John Slow is 33 seconds behind this battle as well.
And we've seen in the real race last year, Neil, with the GT3s, they took each other out on the last lap, coming through the horseshoe.
Yeah, was that the Corvette?
Yep.
Yeah. I think they were the GTs at the time, weren't they? They're all GT3s this year. This is the first time I think they got all the GT3.
And they had been running toe to toe for 24 hours. And with less than 1 kilometre to go, they took each other out.
Yes, that's right. So there we are. We've just clicked under the 30-minute mark remaining. And we've still got battles happening after just under to about an hour and 55 minutes we've been running for. And here's a lead, not lead time, a battle for second, I should say. And Sato's trying to see where he can position this car. You don't want to be down the inside here at the chicane.
And those cars will be loose in that aero wash through there. So Dado may have been happy to let Sato go when it was for regaining position onto the lead lap. But when it's regaining position on track position, Dado's not so willing to give up any space.
No, he's not. And he deserves to put his car where he wants to, as long as he's not weaving too much under brakes here. Oh, Sato's very close, but everything's all good. It'd be nice if we can actually just move to Dado's car, as he's the leading car of this battle. You can see Dado has kept his car fairly clean. He's only really got the battle scars of a general race there.
Do we know what the P stands for on the side, just by the numbers there, Neil?
No, I just prototype maybe. They are DPI, but I'm not too sure why they've got the P there. It could be a P-class driver.
But originally I thought maybe what was the prototype, but then if the P is not prevalent on all of the DPIs, only some.
Yeah, not too sure.
Maybe Dado still being news who Melissa 2 has his P plates.
Yeah, it's just obviously something's been put on there. Oh, Sato's run very wide out of the bus stop. Maybe he gets a track cut warning there. So Dado's doing a great job here in second position, but we know that the fuel of these two cars are a little bit different.
Dado's into the pits now, yep.
So here we go. So Dado's in. Oh, he just takes it as wide as he can. Now, he might have got a bit of aero damage taking that cone.
Let's jump forward Sato to see. I need 17 litres, so Sato can't make it to the finish without a pit stop as well.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So he doesn't have to pit for as long as what Dado. Like Dado's basically putting in the full tank to get to the end, whereas Sato won't have to put a full tank in. So there's a gain there for Sato in his next pit stop. It's unfortunate we lost Clarkey, because Clarkey was in the battle here for between Dado, Sato, and oh, what's happened there? Oh, I thought he was coming to a stop, but Sato's still going. I think he's just had a big moment as Gunner comes in as well.
And Dado's out now.
So Gunner's in the pit lane, and Sato's just coming onto the back straight, and Gunner's moving again. So that's the difference, but as we know, Sato's going to have to come in for a bit of fuel as well. So Gunner's really got this race in his hands here.
So we'll jump on John slow. John also has to make a pit stop for a splash, to get a splash of fuel. But he's doing consistent laps with 134s, and he'll be jumping on anyone who makes a mistake.
Okay, so we've just got heard back from Clarkey as well that they didn't repair the damage in the stop apparently. So obviously that was enough for Clarkey. And we've had to do another lap right around. maybe you could have kept him as all a favour and gone back out and just put it on the track somewhere off the racing line and caused a full course yellow. That would have maybe upset Gunner, but it would have excited the viewers here. A good battle between him, Sato, John Slow and Dado would have been well and truly on the cards if we had got a full course yellow. 24 minutes remaining, who knows, there's still possibility of something like that happening. So it's, as they say, it's never over until it's over.
But as it stands at the moment, the Porsche have a fairly convincing lead over the Nissans.
That's it. So it's one of those things too. A lot of, you know, until we do a lot of endurance racings on Automobilista 2, like we're doing here, the 2.4 hour, no one really knows the advantages of cars. You know them as a normal no-stop type sort of race, a 20-30 minute race. You can have cars with outright speed just dominating, but then the cars that have these advantages over longer distance races, they can end up being the more dominant car, and I think we've sort of seen that in the Porsche here tonight, Tim.
And there is another factor in all of this, Neil, and that is the engineering behind Automobilista 2. So the track wear and the rubber and the racing line, as the race goes on, the track starts out as reasonably green. It settles into a fast track, but the racing line, if you drift off that into the marbles on the outside, it does affect how the cars handle, and it probably could explain how some of these guys have had their small mistakes and errors getting deep through some of these corners.
Sorry, you can't see that, Tim, but Clarkey just put down in the comments there he didn't want Gunner to hunt him down if he did cause that full course yellow. So and I think we all agree too, Gunner does absolutely deserve this win. He's been super consistent and fast as well. So yeah, exactly, Clarkey, but it's like anything. It seems to happen in our most popular race at Bathurst. There's always that late safety car that can cause havoc, and the drivers that have been the team that's been operating so well all race long could come undone for a late safety car. But it obviously adds to the spectacle and the viewership of the race as well. But can't take away quality drive from Gunner at this stage either. So Sato's into the pits for his final time. As Dado now, this is interesting to see where he comes out. So Sato is still stationary, so this is going to be very close. We haven't seen, but Sato's near the end of pit lane, but he's still stationary. So I think Dado will have him. Yes, so Sato's just moving out of the box now. It's going to be close because Sato will have to be careful that he pulls it up around the hairpin here, as he has. So yeah, Sato has actually got a clear little advantage there and back out onto the track proper now. Dado runs wide. Push to
John Slow still has to make a pit stop to grab fuel. So Dado now is officially third place in class. Sato has moved up into position 2.
Unbelievable. How crazy can a race be? So it's a race of attrition. We've seen that. We've seen the 4 retirements. As there's, we've still got Stu's tyre hanging out there on the International Horseshoe.
Dado getting wide out the marbles, missing his braking zone.
Actually, that's the Western Horseshoe, sorry. Whereas Stu's tyre still sitting there in the outfield. As Fish is in from the lead of the GT3 class. I don't know if you mentioned that, sorry Tim. I had my mind elsewhere.
Now, Monkey will still have to come in for fuel. So we would expect that would happen in the next lap or two. And we think Fish has got a commanding lead, but the difference between Cuckoo and Monkey, especially when we look at the Monkey's lap time, like 1:57, he's had a bit of an off somewhere. Cuckoo may very well jump position into position 2 for GT3 class.
I think all the Porsche fans will be, and all the Monkey fans as well. We haven't heard from them for a little while. Obviously be supporting for a Porsche 1-2. And hoping to see their man in second place, if not win the race. So here he comes through as Fish, just leaving his bay now. So
this tells us he's obviously done a pit stop. This is telling me he's got 63 litres of fuel.
That's what it's telling me too. So be interested to know if that is correct. If it is, he will get to the end. And he's the leader at this stage.
I think that's correct, because this is telling me that Fish has got 60 litres.
59 litres, so, but that's because that's all he would need to get to the end. So if we are right, Monkey's got enough to the end. And I think Monkey did pit earlier than Fish. Can't quite remember. Maybe if any of the viewers, if they've been watching the pit stop things that come up, if they know if Monkey has already pitted, if he pitted within the last 5 or 6 laps.
We can see Cuckoo and Fish now battling it out for third position.
This GT3 battle has been intense all race long for the lead. It's been up and down, and we've had the actual 3 different leaders, haven't we? Both had Monkey lead through the race. We've had Fish and Cuckoo. Cuckoo led for the opening stanza until Fish took control.
So the Nissans were commanding in the early part of the race, but the Porsches have drawn that back and have certainly been the power horse through the second half of this race. And it's an all-out sprint now with 17 minutes to go.
What an enthralling battle we've got in front of us. As long as that 60 litres we saw in Monkey's dash is correct, I tell you what, we've got definitely a big race on our hands here. With Colonel Lloyd too, only 20 seconds behind too. We know he's got fuel to the end because he pitted earlier. He came in a lot earlier before anyone else, or after Cuckoo, I think. So I think Lloyd would have enough fuel to the end.
Again, the difference between the pace of the Nissans and the pace of the Porsche is a good 2 seconds a lap.
Wow.
So, because Monkey's only just in front of Fish at the moment, so Cuckoo is able to jump past Fish. Does he have enough pace to catch Monkey?
Yeah, I think the Nissan looks like it's coming on strong late in the race here, and we know it's got the pace of getting a draft with a Porsche. I think that what Cuckoo really needs to do is just settle here, make sure he gets a good run through the bus stop. I don't think I'd really have to explain it to a lot of people that would have the same understanding, that he can't really make the move before the bus stop. But he doesn't want to jeopardise his line in here either, so he's going to lose time. So Porsche stays strong through here. Watch him just mow this gap up now. This graphic is awesome, Tim. This view.
Cuckoo's close enough now. If Fish doesn't shut the door, he's going to be able to get past.
I reckon he'll breeze through the outside anyway. He's going to have the better braking up here too. He can sort of probably challenge around the outside. We may need to go track cam. But that's showed there. He's been able to do it right around the outside. Well done, Tim, with the views there with the cameras. We've seen him make that move. And now can Fish battle back through here in the infield where we know the Porsche has been strong.
I'm thinking Cuckoo's got eyes on. Cuckoo's got the yellow flag up in front being Monkey's Porsche, and he's got the pedal to the metal.
Yeah.
He's hunting Porsche today.
He's definitely hunting Porsche. He's already got his one quota. If he gets 2 Porsches, he's going to get the just rewards. Oh, and we can't be talking out too much. Don't give him the commentator's curse. He had to hang on to that car then. It was loose, all out of control. As Betsy comes into the pits. And is this going to open up? I don't know if the timings, they all go weird when someone goes in the pits, but wonder where Scar is comparable to Betsy.
Let's take a quick look to see where he is on track.
Oh, he's a full lap down because he's only just coming down through the Western Horseshoe now.
If we just take a quick look, he's got the fuel to get home by the looks of that. So let's go back to Cuckoo.
So we were talking about the fuel level on Cuckoo, weren't we? So that could be something that could be the final blow for the Nissan charge for the lead here, for the victory here at Daytona.
Unfortunately, we have no way of tracking it, Neil, so we're just going to have to watch this play out in front of us.
Yeah, that's right, because the dash, we couldn't read any fuel numbers on the dash.
Again, 1.5 seconds faster and 5 seconds down, so in 3 laps he'll catch. So the last 2 laps of this race could be very, very interesting.
And this is maybe all he can try and do is chase him down, get in front, and if he has to try and save fuel, well, he's just going to have to do his best he can once he's in front. Hopefully all the racing gods fall in his favour.
At the moment, with the pace of that Nissan, I don't think there's any fuel saving going on at all.
No, I wouldn't say that. That's what I mean. The only way that he's got a chance, even if he did have to fuel save, he's got to at least challenge Monkey. He's got to try and put Monkey into a mistake, and then when he's got the upper hand or make that move for first position, then he can try and hold the guys off where he can and fuel save if he can get to the end.
So John Slow's obviously had a bit of an off. He's dropped 10 seconds on his last lap.
Yeah, so he's so Dado's, by the looks of that, will be close to probably a lap down now on Gunner. With John Slow not too far away from being a full lap down on the leader.
The whole track is showing a lap down. For him to come across the start-finish line.
Yeah, sometimes also what it does too, it's predicting that all those cars will be a lap down as well by the end of the race.
Yep.
So Sado, as you can see, he's just coming through to the Western Horseshoe where Gunno is just negotiating through the first corner. Here he is coming up to the GT3 class winner, Monkey.
Monkey just a little bit wide there. We've lost 2 or 3 tenths.
We may want to have a look at Monkey actually, because obviously he's the class leader and we're looking at the challenge from Cuckoo coming from behind.
Now only 4 seconds back.
And we can have a look at the fuel level and see if it's still sort of giving us a higher reading as well. Yeah, it's 48, so maybe, yeah, we probably was right when we saw it earlier.
But now saying 3.5 seconds. So in 2 laps time, he's going to have Nissan all over the back of him. And you can see that on the track map, there is a good healthy space between Cuckoo and Fish now.
Yeah, so Fish, that fatigue that I was talking about earlier, as that starts settling in, but when you look at it, he's still doing 46 is the same as Monkey, so it could just be the Porsche as well, but he's lost time to Monkey. He was He had a nice little lead over Monkey around about 13, 14 seconds, I think it was, when he pitted. Somehow Monkey leapfrogged him through the pit stop sequence. So maybe that's what it was. I reckon what it was is Fisher's probably put on new tyres. But if he's put new tyres on, you'd think that he'd be going that little bit faster as well. It's hard to tell.
I think we saw the advantage of the Porsches being able to run almost 10 laps further into the race than the Nissans for their first pit stop.
Yeah, it sort of set the scene, didn't it? But I'll tell you what, Cuckoo's doing a great job here, and there's still that question mark on fuel for Cuckoo.
But consistently the Porsches have recently been in the 146s, and the Nissans, although Colonel's had a bit of an off, both Cuckoo and Colonel have been easily running in the 145s in the Nissan. So the margin now 2.5 seconds. So we'll jump aboard Cuckoo now. And he may have grabbed a little bit of toe of the LPIs that come out of the bus stop. We'll see whether Monkey could have tried to tuck in a little bit tighter to get some more slipstream.
Saturday's still in the 34. Oh, there goes Cuckoo. He spun it at the top of the first, the turn one.
Fisher's gone through.
Oh, he's hit reverse pretty hard, and he's into the wall on the outside as well. So this could even open for Colonel Lloyd. Colonel Lloyd's only just under 10 seconds, 8 seconds. It's getting closer and closer. Oh, you can't take it away from... Oh, we've got to give it to Cuckoo, I should say. He's thrown everything at it. And obviously he's just the rear end, probably getting low on fuel as well. We'll probably find the full story later on. It could be also playing on his mind, knowing that maybe he didn't have that fuel tin. Maybe we'll soon see if he's going to come in the pits for any fuel. But you know, maybe that was starting to get to him, knowing that he's pushing that hard and the tank was getting near low and the time was beating him basically.
It could have just been push, 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 because he was still 2.5 seconds down, and he's got 7 minutes to make up that 2.5 seconds. Although his pace was clearly on there, he would have got to the back of Monkey at least, if not got past him. But that opportunity is now gone. The door is closed.
Yeah, so it looks like a Porsche 1-2 if they all stay like this until the end of the race with just under 7 minutes as the lead. There's the two class winners, the leaders at the moment, Gunner and Monkey. And that's a great shot.
And let's jump aboard Cuckoo to find out. Colonel Lloyd
is only less than 2 seconds, 1.2 seconds behind on my screen there, and on the map you can see he's right behind.
So he stays out.
So this is why you just stay in the race all the time. Colonel Lloyd had a few little moments. He's had an unscheduled pit stop as well. Oh, Lloydie late on the brakes down the inside.
Cuckoo running a bit wide as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that corner the previous laps has obviously fazzled Cuckoo.
Goes to show you continue to race right down to the wire.
And there goes Lloydie.
Lloydie slides up into position 3 for class. Cuckoo's going to let him go through.
Yeah, you can see that Cuckoo just let Lloydie through, knowing that he'd taken the shortcut, so that was good driving. Oh, has he got an engine problem? There was some smoke then. I've never seen that in the game. Or
he's running low on fuel.
He's definitely slowed. I think he's got some gearbox problem or some sort of problems. We definitely saw some smoke there on our screen.
And that does not sound a very healthy car at all.
No. And he did have that spin, and then he rear-ended it in the rear of the car as well on the barrier, it looked like. But there's not that much damage, so maybe he didn't hit the Armco railing. But I think you'll find him in the pits here.
No, staying out.
Staying out. Going to see if he can nurse his car home. So obviously he's right for fuel, because if he had some engine problems, you'd think that he'd just come in as Tim Betts gets through. Maybe have a little look at Tim Betts. Just haven't seen him for a little while. He's got to negotiate through some of these GT3 cars with Colonel Lloyd in front of him. Again, another clean DPI car. He'll be happy with this 5th position, I'd say, Tim.
Just finished this event, but being successful in keeping the car clean and off the barriers.
Definitely good night, Talon. Talon's been in having a look as well. Thanks for viewing, mate. Hope you're doing well. It's been a while.
I'm wondering how John Slow's travelling for fuel. We haven't seen him come into the pits yet. We'll quickly jump aboard. No, something's going wrong with their graphics, because he's got the same fuel as he had 15 minutes ago.
I had 39 litres. What were you getting then?
He had 39 litres when we checked in.
Oh, okay.
Back with half an hour to go. So we did expect John to require. We've just lost another racer.
I wonder who that was. We've still got the GT3, so we've lost Dado. Dado's gone. So I wonder if that was a disconnect late in the race. That's a blow.
Tim now in the pits. So Dado running in 4th, so Tim's now moved up to 4th position.
Oh, that's a big shame. I don't know what happened to Dado, but he was in 4th position. So as you said, yeah, Tim's now into 4th. I don't know what happened.
That would have been a disconnect. I didn't see any incident on the track that would say that he's had any damage.
Yeah, that's a shame. For his first big enduro on Automobilista 2. Come crashing down with only 2 minutes remaining, unfortunately.
We see Gunner coming around now through Sector 1. He will have enough time to get around to start 2 more laps.
Will only be 1 more, but I reckon he might. He could even hold this one up. But yeah, go for glory. Get the as many laps as you can, because it'll go down the record books as well. That he'd be completing 90 laps. He's on the 89th lap.
Check where Sato is on track, so Sato coming around now to come onto the lead lap.
Yeah, so we may as well, not too sure, there's not much of a battle there going for the Porsches, are there? There's, on the graphic it's showing about 3 seconds, but we know it's a lot more than that. Oh, no, it is close, so Fish is catching Monkey here, so with a lap to go. So we'll make sure Gunner actually doesn't slow down and actually gets into, we'll see on the graphic, that yeah, he's just crossed over through the 90th lap, so this will be the last lap for Gunner, and these guys are going to get 1 lap to decide who wins for the Porsche battle. at the moment. Monkey's got a 2.5 second lead to Fish Racing. Fish in the Fenatac Porsche and Monkey in the Dazzle Porsche.
And we can see on the track map that the
So Highlanders just put a little thing in there. Sato will be getting sick of coming second at Daytona. It's followed through from the Xbox, so I think you're right there. But Paul Sato, but he's had an absolutely brilliant comeback drive for being a full lap down to now be 54 seconds off the lead of the race from Gunner. But Monkey, this is their final lap.
I've got to say, other than the damage that we can see on his car, which he sustained early in the race, he's been absolutely outstanding.
He has, but we may just want to pick up Gunner because he's going to be close to finishing this race. So here he comes out of the final corner, maybe the track cameraman, and here he comes for victory of the inaugural ANZCRL Combined Racing League's Daytona 2.4 hour. Congratulations to Gunner. What a great drive from Gunner, representing gravel trap legends. Awesome drive from this man. Absolutely stunning. Sensational pace. Hardly did anything wrong. I don't even know if we saw any errors from this man. Even does a burnout a bit like Van Gisbergen as well and keeps it going. So well done to this man. And let's see if we can pick up maybe the class leader of Monkey taking the checker. As they deserve the class victory here to have coverage. So 1.5 second margin, and it looks like he's going to take this victory. He's got the fuel to the end. Well done to the Dazzle Racing Porsche Racing of Monkey. And the Monkey supporters are going to be happy. They were happy to start at the race, and here we are at the end, showing a lot of Monkey love. Well done to the number 93 car. Awesome drive by Monkey. Never count out a quality driver like Monkey. He was looked like he was actually out at one stage with all that damage, didn't he, Tim?
It was, I think he was a good 30 or 40 seconds off the pace after he pitted due to that damage.
And we obviously John Slow in third position outright as well. Awesome drive from all involved. And Timmy Betts ended up having a 10-second penalty at the end there. Might just save the replay just for my own sake. But there you go. So the GT3s end up being lap, 9 times? They were 9 laps down.
Yep.
And there was nothing separating all 4 cars basically. So unbelievable effort by all those GT3 cars. But the big accolades has to go to Gunner. He only made the 4 pit stops, all scheduled stops by Gunner as well, to take that victory after 90 laps around here. 2 hours and 26 minutes of running, and the 90 laps here around the Daytona Road course. What a victory by Gunner. Maybe, Tim, I don't know, can we drag him into the broadcast chat so we can bring our congratulations to him, and maybe even Monkey can come in as well?
I will try to do that if I can.
We might just return.
Gunner, can you hear us?
Yeah, mate. Can you hear me?
Yep. Congratulations, mate. First place.
Yeah, cheers, fellas. Wow, I was not expecting that. That's awesome.
Mate, inaugural victory here for ANZCRL Combined Racing League's Daytona 2.4. What a feeling that must be to go on the history books as the first driver to take that victory in what will hopefully be ANZCRL's rich history of special events here on AMS2. What a run, mate.
Oh, guys, cheers. Look, thanks for putting the event on. It's Yeah, I didn't think I had the pace to do it, and I don't have a lot of experience with endurance races this long. I've only done one 2.4 hour before, and yeah, what a slog. But yeah, I managed to keep it on the black stuff and wobble my way into first place, and keep my nose clean. I guess is what did it for me.
Oh, most definitely. And you had a few little moments of maybe of the full course yellow at some stages when we had obviously Stu, Mercedes lost a wheel on the Western Horseshoe, and I think then we had another car lose a wheel. I forget who it was. We were actually watching him as he's going down the straight after he had an accident and the wheel flung off the car, and I think if they move a bit too slow we might get a full course yellow, and you would have had the fast charging Sato coming up closer to you. Though that he was out of sync with pit stops, he may have taken opportunity to do a pit, but he would have been maybe coming close to the back of the queue by the time you guys restarted, so that would have been a bit of a worry if that happened.
Yeah, I had a couple of times I had second thoughts as to whether I should have let him by to get his lap back. I thought it might have come back around to bite me on the arse if there had been a yellow, and I did see Stu's car parked there, and I was a little bit concerned that that's what was going to happen, but thankfully it was a caution-free race. Obviously there's quite a bit of action behind me, but I didn't see too much of it myself except for Sato's accident on, was it lap 2, right in front of me. That was a bit of an eye-opener.
Yeah, well, we missed that. So whereabouts was that? Could you sort of let us know and whereabouts that was on the circuit?
Turn 1 must have been lap 2. Turn 1, lap 2.
Yeah.
He over-rotated. I'm not sure whether he had a rear lock-up or something, but he basically turned left across the front of me and into the wall. I was lucky I didn't get him on the bounce back. Or
yeah,
it's a bit. I mean, it was over 2 hours ago now, so it's not fresh in my memory, but that's how I remember it.
And lucky the rest of the field got through too, and it was a very good opening lap from everyone. It was nice and clean, so yeah, it was a well fought race for everyone. So it was good to see you get that victory there, Gunner. Awesome job, and take the spoils, my friend.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Again, thanks for putting on such an awesome event. It's a shame that there was a few dropouts, but that's bound to happen in a big race like that. And shout out to GTL. Hopefully we can get more of the guys from our club along to the next one.
Definitely. Thanks, Gunner. Well done. Now,
cheers.
Hopefully we got does Monkey come across at all?
We'll send Gunner back into the other group, and I'll drag Monkey across.
Okay, lovely.
It's going to let me. No, it's not going to let me. So I'll drag Monkey into. And we've got Monkey with us now.
Oh, hello. Wasn't expecting this.
Well, you've took the spoils, Monkey. Congratulations, mate, winning the GT3 class. What a race that the GT3s had, all 2 hours and 25-minute long. We never knew who was going to win that race.
No, I was very skeptical because my last pit stop, I forgot to bind the pit stop control button on my wheel, so I put in 120 litres with 20 minutes to go. So I was very skeptical if I'd be able to beat Fish, but managed to in the end.
Yes, and also Cuckoo, you didn't quite see that, but he was hard charging. Well, you might have seen on your Delta, he was catching at a rate of knots with the last 10 minutes to go. He made the move on Fish, and then he was closed the gap to within 2 seconds of you until he made a mistake at turn 1. So I guess you would have been happy to have seen that time extend after he had that mistake at turn 1.
Yeah, it went from 2 dots on my mini-map to 1, so I was very excited to see that.
Yeah, definitely. And a Porsche 1-2 as well. That'd be
it's great
good to see. And you had plenty of support here in the stream by, I don't know, we had flip-flap double twos, and there was a couple of others as well going for you. So you had plenty of support there, my friend.
All right, those are my mates. So
that's all good.
Yeah.
So congratulations on that victory, and inaugural winner of the GT3 here at ANZCRL Daytona 2.4. So you've put yourself in the history books, my friend. And
Thank you.
yeah, well done on that victory, Monkey.
Thanks a lot, guys.
All right.
Thanks, mate.
All right. Well, that basically wraps things up, Tim. What an event. Have you got any last thoughts on what we witnessed there tonight?
I'd be keen to catch up with the guys at a later date to talk about how they felt the cars themselves handled throughout the event. It's the first enduro event that we've actually had for Automobilista 2. So some feedback from that would be handy from the drivers. Well, obviously, we've found some other interesting facts out with the broadcast suite that we'll certainly take on board and pass up to Reese.
Yeah.
We hope you've all enjoyed the stream. It's certainly been an absolute pleasure sitting here in the commentary box, bringing all the data to you.
Yeah, most definitely. So with that, we've been your hosts. We've had Tim alongside myself, Neil, and I hope you enjoyed the inaugural Daytona 2.4 for ANZCRL. Until next time, be good to everyone and be safe. Cheerio.
Okay.